What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode and live stream of Let's Get Nuts here on the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. Guys, that was my new piloted weird little intro. We're still going to do the main Let's Get Nuts theme, don't get me wrong, but I really didn't like the new countdown music they've given us. It feels like elevator music now, and I just freaking don't love it. But today, we've got an all-star panel in the back here. Can't wait to show you who is here with us today. Guys, we're going to talk a little bit about all the Hot Toys news that's come out lately. We're going to talk artisan and limited figures. I will admit, I had a take this week that I feel I was wrong on. So I'm going to tell you guys what that take is later today in the show as well. So guys, stick around. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and let's get nuts.
What are you doing? You're completely outnumbered here. Are you nuts? You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Alrighty guys, let's get it started today. So I'm going to bring out our first panelist of the day. This man, he goes by the secret name of Eric, but some of you guys may know him as Mr. Valkyrie Magnus, back in the house with us again. Good to see you, buddy. How are you doing, man?
Here.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Loving every minute.
I was laughing because you always say hi to me in the chats, you know, like when we're watching other streams even. It's like, hey, Ben, how's it going? And I swear to God, especially if I've had a few to smoke that day, I always have the worst time spelling Valkyrie. And so I'm like, I don't want to not say hi, but man, is it a hard one to spell sometimes. So if I ever just wave at you and say, hello, good sir, hope you're doing well, VM, you know I'm talking to you.
Works for me.
Sounds good? Good to have you back, buddy. How's things in life going? Collectibles, the world, anything that's exciting for you these days?
Everything's going great. I think I just wanted to share one little thing was my rock figure.
Hell yeah, dude. Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Definitely looks like him from the movie. That's for sure. That's from, of course, G.I. Joe, right?
Yes.
Am I correct? Yeah. Okay,
yes.
Cool. That's what I thought. That's awesome. Yeah. And where'd you get that one from?
I got it from StockX.
StockX. I don't know if I've actually ever bought from them. What was your experience like?
It's always been pretty good. I started out originally just buying because I was a shoe addict when I was younger, so I'd always buy Jordans from them. And then I was like, whoa, wait, they have Hot Toys also. So I started buying up a lot of stuff. So I mean, it was a really good and cheap price, and so I built up my collection. But I don't know how it's going to be going forward, but we'll talk about that later.
To be honest, I see the resemblance between you and the figure. I don't know, if you keep working out, man, you're going to be the next Rock. Love to see it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, buddy.
Definitely.
Well, great to have you here. Great pickup. Heck yeah, StockX. I wouldn't say that I can recommend it because I've never shot from there before, but these experiences can be hit and miss sometimes, so keep an eye out for that as well.
Yes, definitely.
Heck yeah. Next up, I think we've got Deadpool in the back. Pretty sure. If it's not Deadpool, he might go by Philly from Figurecraft. Let's be honest. Good to see you back, buddy. How you doing, man? Oh, you muted Philly. I don't know if I muted you or you muted yourself. It's good muting etiquette, though. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How we doing, everybody? Good to see you, Ben. Good to see you, Valkyrie. Can I see little mini Valkyrie again? That looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
right.
That look, yeah, that's dope, man. Those figures,
It looks like you.
I have Snake Eyes. They're really good figures. They build them pretty good back in the day. So congratulations on that. But
smaller.
Yeah, it's yeah, I know, right? It's a cool 76 degrees over here in San Diego. Birds are chirping. It's spring. There's flowers everywhere, and I wouldn't rather be anywhere except for right here in a dingy little man cave with my buddies. So thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you.
this weirdly colored brick wall behind us. Yes, yes. And you know what? It actually snowed here yesterday. So when you say it's a
Ooh.
cool anything over on your side of the world, I am still jealous. Let's be honest. I am still jealous.
Gotta calm down.
I'm really freaking hoping that's the last time we see snow, but yeah, it's hard to say. Hard to say in Canada. Good to see you, buddy. I thought you had a Mickey Mouse hat on when you first joined, and then I realized it was Deadpool.
It doesn't look like the
shortly
years.
after the
You're
fact.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But
that's funny.
no,
But,
it's Deadpool.
And I got to ask you, because I don't know if I've seen any reviews from you yet. If you've got one on the channel, I apologize. I haven't seen it yet. Your 2099 Spider-Man right behind you there. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love this thing. It's I just got it last week and I took some pictures and I was pleasantly surprised. Riley Reviews, shout out to Riley Reviews. He called it. It went from a fail to a grail, and oh my god, this thing was amazing. The posability is top notch. Like I hope, because it's a larger figure, I hope that they apply this effect to all the Spider-Man figures on a smaller scale. So, but yeah, it poses beautifully, has an additional range of articulation, and it's something that all the Spider-Man figures need, and they should do that. They really should.
Which is a huge win, right? Because when they originally showed this prototype, it was the jointed body and like the plastic look, and when
I believe that's the body that you see
under it,
just not under, and they just probably cover it up with the stuff.
I was
But
wondering about that. But I remember the common consensus was like the criticism was that like, oh well, now they've made it not posable, so now I don't want it. So to hear you actually say that it's more posable than you'd expect is a win. That's a huge win.
Yeah, it's a huge win, and honestly, really, they can do that in the regular Spider-Mans, but they choose not to because there's more engineering and it's smaller scale. Because it's like at least 13 inches, and we all know the Spider-Man figures are a little under 12 inches, I think. And if they put the effort into
inches more than anybody ever needs, is what I've been told.
And if they put the effort into it, it can easily be done. There's also the whole exception of the suit creasing and cutting. That's a different story. Because I had some situations where sort of pinched a little bit, but it looks like it's looking like it's undoing it. So the suit is very forgiving, but not all suits I know that could be like that. So that's probably the only exception that when you have a really good posable figure, that you want to be careful with that.
Hell yeah, dude. Cool. Well, thanks for telling me about it, because I was very eager to see more videos getting pumped out to see what the posability looked like. That was the biggest concern that I'd had most collectors reach out to me on, because I thought it was a win that they put the material over top. So I like to smoke joints, but I don't like joints on my figures. And I will say that like I did not like the look of that figure previously. Right now, I think it looks fantastic. So, and it looks awesome behind you, buddy. So hell yeah.
Thanks, man.
Hell yeah. All right, let's bring up the next guest. We got two more lovely gentlemen in the backgrounds. I think they're lovely. I don't know what they would say about themselves, but I'm gonna go with PCR, pop culture relics. Luis, back in the house again, dude. It's been a couple of weeks since we've seen you last. How you doing?
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Hell yeah.
Yes, thank you for having me. Always good to see you guys. Eric, Valkyrie, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
And again, thanks for having me. I'm about 40. No, I'd say a little less than an hour away from Philly. Thankfully, sharing same weather. We got a little bit more heat here in the inland, but for the most part, mid 70s, man. So
that's crazy.
Anytime you want to come down, you've got a place here, man. So
don't tell me that. I'll just live there. I'll just come.
I'll
squat.
The J&D Joker. Okay.
If that's right. If I can bring my cat, he's a big boy.
Yeah, sure.
And and a couple gluten-free beers, I'm good. I'll be there. So,
we'll have it ready for you.
Welcome back to the show, dude. Hell yeah, I'm excited for you to get that J&D Joker. Speaking of which, and we'll keep it quick, but with that new update, that most recent update, are you happy? With what you're seeing? You're excited? Hell yeah.
100%. I mean, I actually just got the recent J&D Indiana Jones. You can see them right there.
Yep. I can see it there.
I've been looking forward to that piece for a while. Obviously, them picking up the Disney license was huge, and I told you they're coming out with Jack Sparrow, so that may or may not be added to the collection. But I'm kind of going with a cinematic relics, I should say, display for only the characters that I really, really like. So that's where they fit in, and I'm looking forward to the J&D Joker. I know that I'm one of the few that I know that have it on order, but at the same time, the new updates are stellar. So I'm stoked. And this is half scale Vader.
Half scale. Just goes to show you how big Vader actually would be then, eh?
Yeah. No, I get that a lot.
Crazy.
But one day, maybe. One day I'll get a full-size Vader, but he would take up, a pretty decent display here. But
when you're like
never say
Mr.
never.
Beast famous in terms of YouTube and 6 scale and
Oh, yeah.
That's
When I can buy a house just for my collection, sure. That's
there you go.
that's Grail.
Just for
Goal
the collection.
status.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, no flex required. It's fine.
No,
I have all the money.
Not
now.
whatsoever.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, welcome back. We have
Thank you.
45
Thank
people
you for
here
having me.
already. Yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. We got one final amazing panelist in the house today. Originally, I thought we were going to have a British guy here, but instead we've traded up, let's be honest, for an Irishman. We've got one six-figure focus in the house with us back again. Good
You need to
see
keep that
buddy.
exact type of energy for collecting weekly on Tuesday night. That's what I want to hear.
Will,
Good stuff.
I
Yeah,
forgot you're joining us on Tuesday.
yeah.
Hell
What's
yes.
up?
Hell yes.
How are things?
Not
You
too
good?
much, man.
Hi, everyone. Philly, Louise, Valkyrie.
Yeah.
How we
Yeah,
doing?
we were talking
Nice
beers in the
to see
back room because I've got my gluten-free lazy mutt with me today. I know Shane's got his Guinness, so it's gonna be a wild show. It's gonna be a wild show, but I'm happy to have you here, buddy. Happy to have you here. Water. Look
Cheers,
at
dude.
Valkyrie's got a bag of nuts with him.
Yes.
Directly. That's on
I'm
brand
getting
right
ready.
there. I didn't even pay him for that
on
kind
brand,
of
on
marketing.
brand.
Get nuts.
Hopefully
That's
not
awesome,
too
man.
salty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. Anything come for you recently, Shane? Anything new in your neck of the woods in your collection room there? I know,
Okay, so I'm going to
Josh-
tell you one feature about the figure that came in the door during the week that I haven't unboxed yet, and you're going to get it within about 4 seconds. 3 seconds,
I don't
actually,
like
I'd
being
say.
put on the spot.
The hands are terrible. What did I get?
John Wick 4.
Yes, good man. It took him like less than a second.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I freaking
Yeah,
hated
so
mine.
yeah, that's really looking forward to it, to unbox it and stuff like that. And hopefully, I don't know how you can really pose away bad hands, but I'm gonna do my best. Yeah,
Look
looking
behind
forward
the
to it.
guns. I've got my
Pardon?
guns I've got my guns displayed essentially like on top of the hands. So like
As
at
if
the
he's holding
angle that I
them
can
down.
see-
Yeah.
yeah. At the angle I can see more of the top stock of the gun as opposed to the hand itself. But
Or
we're actually
hands in
gonna
the
talk-
pockets, just taking a walk.
hands in the pocket.
Brisk walk.
So what you're saying is
Ah.
John Walk.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm here all
We're
night.
gonna,
I'm here all night. Yeah.
We're gonna talk about hands
Yeah.
today. Actually, that is one of my show sheet subjects because there's a pretty wild variance in the 6 scale world of what hands can look like for a figure, and I'm going to show you guys some examples of those. So stay tuned. Let's bring up some slides. I always like to get a little warmed up with some entertainment news, as always. By the way, Shane, love to have you, buddy. Thanks for being back. Love you, man. Let's get warmed up though. I want to talk a little bit about this cutie here. She has become or becoming anyways, our new Supergirl. And of course, some of you may recognize her from House of the Dragon. I thought she did a pretty great job there as, was it Rhaenyra? Rhaenyra? I can't remember. Targaryen. And she was awesome. And then they traded up the actress for a slightly older version. And to be honest, I liked the show less. I honestly thought they should have just aged her up. I thought she was doing a great job. But I was happy to see her cast in this role. Now, there has been some, I will say, renders that have been put up online lately, and a couple of photos that I would say, we talk about like potato cameras. Everybody always gets their figure first, and they take their picture with a potato camera, then everybody freaks out. Well, there's been a few potato pictures of her on her Supergirl outfit. This is one of the renders that's been shown now, though, in terms of what she may or may not look like in the final representation of Supergirl. Now, I will give my preamble really quickly, and then I'm curious what you guys are feeling about this. So, when I think Supergirl, I definitely, honestly, loved Melissa Benoist in the CW version, or Benoist, I guess. It depends on how you say her name. As well as Sasha Calle. can't remember exactly. I loved both of them. I thought they did both wonderful jobs. The other two representations, the one with no Supergirl or no Superman symbol on her chest, that was from the old Smallville show, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't have much of a connection to her, and unfortunately, I'm still not old enough to have a connection to the previous one on the far left. Melissa, I thought, did a fantastic job. I liked her representation of Supergirl quite a bit. And Sasha, I also really, really enjoyed. She just didn't get her own movie. Like, it sucks that her representation is just done. Of course, her representation being the only one that isn't rocking the skirted look, though, which I also really enjoyed. I thought that was a very like feminine and badass look to her. And so I'm excited to see, of course, the new representation here from James Gunn. But to me, it's not all about the look, right? If the Superman movie doesn't excite me, if it just fails, if it's not a good film, it's going to eliminate, in my opinion, some of my excitement for the Supergirl film, no matter how good she looks in the outfit. So I'll be curious to see what you guys have to say about this. But Philly, I'll start with you actually on this one. In terms of your favorite Supergirl look, do you have one here on the screen? And what are your thoughts on an upcoming Supergirl film overall? And by the way, these are the potato shots that I meant to share with you guys as well. The Bigfoot from like a camera from like 17 miles away.
There's some also supposedly with Lobo in there too, with Jason Momoa, but it's kind of hard to see. But yeah, they're definitely potato photos. Yeah, it's funny. I'm more connecting. I've connected more with the animated Supergirl from the animated series, but more so Power Girl. We need to see Power Girl come to this to the screen, because she is, and for those who don't know, she is a clone of Supergirl, and it's like almost like she's like a superwoman. She's just like amplified Supergirl. But I like this design. I mean, it looks classic. It looks like to the modern comics, so it has a twist of classic and modern. And yeah, it looks really great. I think she has short hair. Is it shoulder length hair? I can't tell if it's longer in the back or
hard to tell from the side there, or like from this again potato image, but it looks pretty long, like down past her shoulders at least.
Okay, so it is long,
similar to what you'd see on the book that she's actually reading, which is interesting. I wonder if that's an indication of kind of a story beat that they're going to go with.
Yeah, because I almost thought it was going to be short, but if it was short, I thought that's an interesting take. I mean, but the long is fine as well. But yeah, I'm excited. Really excited to see what Jason Momoa brings to that character. And then I loved her in House of Dragons, and I agree they should have kept her, because I mean, in between seasons, like 2-3 years passed, so she would have been old by the time she did the second season. So I don't understand why they exchanged characters, but I mean actors. But I think she's got more stuff coming up. I think she'll be a big hit, and she's got that personality, and she fits into that role pretty well. And the suit looks good. I'm excited.
Yeah. And still, for me, hasn't been in enough things that I have that much of a pulse on her abilities. So, like, she'll still feel very fresh in the role for me, at least from my take anyways. But, Shane, what are your thoughts on, Supergirl Hero, the outfit that we're seeing kind of teased to us a little bit? Do you feel like we're seeing too much from the James Gunn universe so far already before we've even got that Superman film? It's giving people a lot of ammunition to either love or hate what they're seeing. What are your thoughts there?
No, I don't think they're giving too much away. I mean, we weren't supposed to see that potato shot for starters. That's some guy who crawled up on a hill with a huge lens from 4 miles away and took a shot.
I like the way you say huge, by the way.
Yeah, huge, huge.
Yeah.
But like, no, I don't think we've seen too much. I mean, what are the typical things that they show you? They show you the Superman symbol, the suit, a trailer. We've probably seen as much of this Superman as kind of what we would have seen from any other rendition of Superman at this stage. The movie's out, 3 months time, 2 months time, maybe? What's it, April, May, June, 2 months time? It's coming out in June, July.
Yeah. June 25th, I want to say, or something like that.
Yeah, so like, I don't think we've seen too much. We've seen more or less it, like, but we still don't really know exactly what's going on, like, but yeah, in terms of this, like, Supergirl and stuff like that, I really don't have a horse in this race because I didn't read the comics, so I don't have any particular aspirations or hopes for a particular style of outfit or whatever like that. I mean, I would look at the skirt and kind of go, yeah, that's not really going to work in a live action personally. Like, well, maybe it does for some people, but me, I just think that's. I already think capes are ridiculously impractical, but you can't have Superman or Batman without their cape. Like, but I mean, the coolest outfit I can see here is actually Sasha Calle's. I think that's. I just really actually like the look of it. I know a lot of people wouldn't like it because they want Supergirl with their skirt, whereas I don't really care because I haven't read the comics. But I understand that if someone has read the comics, they want the skirt. So you know, don't really doesn't bother me either. Like, do you know what I mean? If the movie's good, if the story's good, the dialogue's good, if the action's good, that's what's more important to me. It might get me on board, but yeah, I don't really care too much. But actually, quite liked Flash. I thought the Flash was a terrible movie. Best parts about it were three things: Keaton, as that was the first one, obviously. As controversial as Ezra Miller is, take his personal stuff out of the way, and he gave a very poignant performance. And then Sasha Calle, I thought was great, but it's pity we'll probably never see her again. So yeah, I really don't care about the skirt. So
that's fair. That's fair. Brick Artemis in the chat here says skirt is better than pants, and no band around the waist. So he likes the stomach poking out a little bit. I like that look too.
Now the thing is, now if you're asking me to talk about these women, that is a different conversation.
Yeah, you can tell me which suit you like the most.
They're all lovely girls.
That's fair. I mean, my audience, just so you guys are aware, is 99% male. So for the couple females in here, we appreciate you out there as well. We're trying to gain some more, but you know, I think that, like, to be honest, Supergirl definitely does have sex appeal, right? That's part of the draw of her character. That's part of the way she was drawn. If people want more of a comic book representation, then I can understand why you would lean more skirt. Whereas you're right, Shane, function-wise, the outfit from Sasha makes way more sense for actual, like, superhuman style combat and fighting, for sure. Luis, when you think about a Supergirl, we talked about Superman and we talked about Batman on Let's Get Nuts last week. You know, what makes a great Batman? What makes a great Supergirl? What's going to make a great Supergirl on screen for you? Is it the look? Is it the character and how she acts? Like, what identifies for you as a good or great Supergirl?
You know, that's a great question. I feel like obviously Wonder Woman is the closest we've gotten to just a major representation other than Sasha, which I think she did great. I like the kind of little lines that she had, but she was very powerful in how she delivered things. So I think a blend between, you know, having the looks of kind of a Wonder Woman, hence the skirt, and just the pure badassness of Sasha's take, I think would be pretty good. Which is tough again because you have Wonder Woman who kind of laid that track than Sasha, but thankfully there hasn't been a lot of representation, so she should be able to make it her own. But you know, it's a sensitive role, being that it's kind of the first time we're really seeing it to this extent, where it's a new universe. So you know, big shoes to fill. But yeah, I mean, I think just a mix between those two and I'll be fine, you know. And it's tough because you have Superman that typically will overshadow, I feel like, but I don't know, I think having them so close together, it'll be good because you can really compare in this day and age, you know, man versus woman. That's a whole nother subject, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, well said. And one of the reasons, Shane, that I asked you about, like, is James Gunn showing too much, is one of the things that's been driving me a little pissed, like a little mad lately, is seeing all the comparisons of Henry Cavill, his Superman, you know, out when he first takes his steps out from the Fortress of Solitude, he's looking all badass and, you know, ready to do his first flight look, and he looks good. I mean, he's physically fit. He's, you know, he's not injured at all. And then I keep seeing it in comparison to photos of David Cornsweet laying in the snow, bleeding from the mouth, and it's like what we had.
But that's a biased take.
That's exactly it. I hate
That
it.
is a
It's driving
biased
me
take.
freaking
That is
nuts.
someone
100%.
who is living in their mum's basement and who's a diehard Henry Cavill fan and thinks
Thank
Henry
you.
Cavill can do no wrong and the DCU is the greatest thing since sliced bread. By the way, I don't care for the DCU movies, but I think Henry Cavill was born to play Superman, and the suit was I think when it walked on screen, I was like, they got it right, because I'm not a fan of the red underwear outside the pants, whether it's Christopher Reeves or anyone else. Fine, unpopular opinion, but I just think Henry Cavill's suits were fantastic. He looked like he was born to play Superman, and that's a biased take. And this is coming from someone who, James Gunn made me love a walking, talking raccoon who I had no business liking that. My brain doesn't operate like that. My brain doesn't accept that. You explain that to someone. Okay, the Guardians of the Galaxy, you have a walking, talking tree, you've got a WWE guy who's painted with a bunch of tattoos, you got a green girl, you got a Chad, and then you got a talking raccoon. That sounds fucking terrible. But he made you care. With the action, the dialogue, the story, the heart, he made you care about that goddamn raccoon. Same thing with the Suicide Squad. The first one was awful. The second one was great. The Peacemaker, fantastic stuff. The Peacemaker was an asshole. Me ended up loving him. He's very good at what he does, and I do not care for the trailer of this new Superman. But I will still recognize that whoever made that is just a diehard Cavill fan, and it is closed-minded to this upcoming Gunn universe. Whereas I'm like, okay, I didn't care for the trailer, but there's things I could point out I like, and I'm open-minded to it because I haven't seen the movie yet. So that's just someone who's, I don't know, they spend time of their life making that mean. That's fucking weird.
Hell yeah. Francesca in the chat says, "Oh no, he was born to play The Witcher." Witcher is amazing, by the way. Hell yeah, he played a great Witcher. The fact that they swapped him out for Liam Hemsworth, horrible choice. And thank you for being here, by the way, talking about the female audience. Love to see it. Love to see it here. Let's get nuts with you. Valkyrie, do you agree with Shane? Is that a biased take? Because when you think about the Guardians of the Galaxy, when that movie was first introduced, I agree with Shane. I didn't expect to care about a raccoon. I didn't expect to care about a tree and all these things. But one of the cool things they did with their marketing was they didn't tell us really anything about these characters. All they did was put them in basically a police lineup. Right, and they showed them there holding their things, and that was the tease. These are the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're up on the lineup,
holding their
Tell
things.
us how you really feel, holding their signs.
So I thought
Holding
it was
their signs, holding their tree branches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I actually read the comic books. I watched the cartoons and stuff like that because I actually did like Guardians of the Galaxy, so I knew who the characters were, and when it came out, I was like. I was really excited. Like I even had like the action figure set, which Hasbro made like before the movie even was thought of, right? And I was like, yes, they're finally making it. And my wife and my daughter was like, who are they?
Yeah.
So they're the Guardians. You said you were gonna like them, right? And for me, I was just happy when it came out, and I took my daughter and my wife, and they were instantly fans of the show, of the movie, and the characters.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. But you don't feel like James Gunn has shown too much at this point, giving people too much room to be critical. Like I think like Shane made a great point about the raccoon. I never thought I'd care about a raccoon, right? James Gunn's style means that like those robots, for example, that we've seen from the first trailer of the Superman film, guaranteed we are going to care about those robots for better or for worse for whatever reason. But he's already shown them to us, so it already gives me the inclination that we're going to care about them, which makes me think if he doesn't nail it, I'll actually care about them less. It's like it creates this narrative within my own brain. It gives me the opportunity to be critical. Whereas again, that first image or that first like trailer of the Guardians was just them just lining up, and it was like, you're in for a treat. The Guardians are here, right? And you don't think they're giving too much away though? You're feeling excited still, or about the Supergirl as well?
I'm pretty much excited for the whole thing. I mean, I've like pretty much like watched I've watched everything from the beginning, like the first Supergirl to the upcoming one, the first Superman, like from well, not the first one, I mean Christopher Reeve versus George Reeve, but and I think at this point, because I've seen enough James Gunn movies, I think I have like faith in him. So I think he always does like a great job in writing scripts. It's always funny, mixed of funny, seriousness, and sometimes sadness. And you feel the character, like as Shane said about like Rocket Raccoon. I mean, like I thought of him as just like, a cute character. But after the third movie, it was like, wow, I just felt so, bad for him, and I just rooted for him because I thought, I felt sad for him too. And I just felt, good for him at the end. And I feel like, James Gunn's gonna bring all these things together, and I feel like he's gonna make a movie. I have complete faith. Like for me, I was a big Henry Cavill fan. I was sad to see him go, but I think I'm good with this one. I'm actually more than good. I'm pretty excited to see this.
Yeah, absolutely. X-Men Supreme in the chat here says, I go into every Marvel movie expecting to love the characters because they made me love Iron Man at the jump, and I never cared about Iron Man in the comics. And I was exactly the same way. I remember back in 2008 when they started the MCU with Iron Man, and I literally went and bought an Iron Man comic because I'd never read one before. I was all about Batman and DC comics back then, and or X-Men comics, but I'd never read any Iron Man. And I thought it was a weird choice, to be honest. I was like, I can see it because he's a rich guy in a suit, a suit of armor. He can create it. Like, I can understand. Like, it doesn't take much to put the pieces together to see where it can go from like comic fantasy to comic reality. But I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. So that's a great call out there as well. And yeah, well thought. Well said points, Valkyrie. Well said.
Thanks.
For me, let us know, guys, in the chat if you guys are excited for Supergirl. Do you feel like James Gunn has shown us too much? Do you feel like he's shown us just enough? Or is the hype there? Or is it giving fans an opportunity to be too critical before they should be? In my opinion, that's how I feel. I honestly wish they would show us less and just get to the movie already. I just can't wait to see it. And if they nail Superman, it will 100% amp up my excitement for Supergirl, I think, even more. But let's move on, guys. We got one more entertainment news topic I want to quickly address before we get into the 6 scale news and say hi to everybody in the chat. And guys, we have 50 people watching live right now. Thank you so much for being here, getting nuts with us on a Sunday. If you don't mind hitting the like button, if you're enjoying the show so far, it definitely helps, and shows the episode to all the folks who might not be getting it in their feeds. We definitely appreciate it. Let's talk about Matt Reeves. So Matt Reeves has come out and said essentially here that the Batman 2 has now been delayed again until 2027. A year ago, it was delayed until 2026. Now it's 2027. The ball just keeps getting kind of pushed further and further down the road. Now, he did say here, we're still finishing the script, and there's been so many things going on. The next year is very much about getting into production and getting the movie going, which tells me they really haven't started shooting even at this point. For me, I've heard, anyways, that Matt Reeves has had some level of health complications, which is partially the reason for this delay. But I feel like I've got my tinfoil hat on. I'm starting to feel like we're never going to see the Batman 2. But they put money into the Penguin show. The Batman 1 was well received with Pattinson. It's just getting to the point now where that movie is already getting kind of old. I think it was, 2022? I think it's already at least 3 years old. By the time we see a Batman 2 in 2027, that's a 5-year difference between films, which is really, really starting to get up there. So, and of course, now we have this looming DC universe with a new Batman from James Gunn, speaking of the devil as well. So I'll be curious to see what you guys have to say about this. For me, my tinfoil hat tells me I'm not too optimistic that we're actually going to see this come to fruition. Philly, what do you think about the Batman 2 being pushed again, pushed again? Are you still feeling optimistic we're going to see a Batman 2? Is it diminished your excitement at all? Or where are you at for this film franchise?
I think eventually we will get a movie, but Matt Reeves, yeah, I mean, he could have health problems, but he's also been known just to take his sweet time on a project and try to make it right. And by God, they did really well with the Penguin. And, there's also talks about maybe even another villain, which I think it was Clayface, I've heard. I don't know if it's still, kind of concrete news or not. But, I think he's probably just trying to build a universe of this Elseworld, universe, because it's a lot to do. I'm a big fan of the Planet of the Apes movies, and some of his movies in there, they kind of worked well, but they were also their own identity separate from each other because there are different times, different, eras. of the Planet of the Apes. But I believe in him. I think he has the potential to give us a good, potentially Mr. Freeze story. Who knows? I don't know if that's 100% sure, but I've heard rumors of Giancarlo Esposito playing Mr. Freeze. That'd be really cool. But we don't know. I don't know. It went from originally from the Court of Owls now to, I've heard Clayface, and now I hear Mr. Freeze. So I think he's just probably trying to, tie the loose ends and make it a good concrete story. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but we'll wait. We'll be here. We'll eventually get something by 2030 or something.
So maybe I'm in the minority. I am starting to get sick of seeing Giancarlo Esposito. I like him. I think he's an amazing actor. Don't get me wrong. But I'm starting to feel a little sick of seeing him. Even the Far Cry 6 game that I'm playing right now, he's the villain in that. I'm like, oh my god, he's in freaking everything. He's I was really upset at the Captain America film that he was basically a throwaway villain. I mean, he did decently okay, but I mean, come on. You should have he is a good actor. If he finds a good role that he can connect with and is memorable, I think he has the potential of, if he attacks that Mr. Freeze role and he gets you Heart of Ice, like in the 92 series, the anime series, some kind of feel like that, that's Oscar worthy performance. And you never know. It could be also like up and as high as Heath Ledger's Joker. You never know. We just need that. I think he has the caliber of acting experience, but they got to stop giving him minor roles or throwaway roles. That's the reason why you're kind of tired of him, and I agree with you. I'm kind of tired of him too, in a way. Tim says hate seeing him and Pedro Pascal and literally everything. Yeah, and Pedro's and everything. It seems like too same kind of feel, right? Heart of Ice would be an amazing storyline for a Freeze, whether it's him or not. I totally agree with you. I think one of my favorite parts about Heart of Ice, if you haven't seen it from Batman the Animated Series, was that like Victor Freeze, the reason he really becomes the supervillain that he is to keep his wife alive, right? Nora Freeze. That is his whole motivation. He's not meant to be a bad guy, but in order to find the cure for her and save her life, he has to kind of go down that rabbit hole and become the villain. And I think as kind of a dichotomy against a Batman, like especially in like a more real verse like Matt Reeves has created with the Batman here, how does Batman stop somebody from doing what he's doing if the cost of that is still a human life, a family member, the wife of this person? But still, for the greater good, still must stop him anyways, right? The best villains have motivations that you agree with but can't support. It puts you in that tight critical chest situation. Thanos was like that, right? How many times did we see Thanos was right, even though the Avengers still had to stop him from what he was doing? Shane, I don't know if I've ever asked you, where does the Batman or the Pattinson Batman rank for you in terms of your favorite Batmans? And what are your thoughts here on the delays? Is this diminishing your excitement? Would you still be excited to see another one? Where does this land for you?
Well, I'll start off by it's Bale, Keaton, and then Pattinson. And I think that movie is a 4-star movie. The Batman. I think it's a fantastic movie. I remember it was 2019. I'm driving to work, and the Irish radio was on. They're doing the entertainment news, and they're saying that Colin Farrell had been cast in a new Batman movie, and where Robert Pattinson's playing the Batman. I was like, we don't need this. We didn't need Affleck, in my opinion, anyway. And then I get people liked him, I get it, but I was like, can we just like not make Batman movies for a while? Like, love the Keaton movie, the 2 Keaton movies. Obviously, love the Dark Knight trilogy, and I get that people like Ben Affleck. I was like, can we just like stop? But then I watched the movie, and I was like, okay, I just accept now that. Same way comic books, there's different interpretations of characters. You have like a writer, an illustrator, someone to do the lettering, someone to do the animation or the drawings, and it's the comic books, the artists and that team's interpretation. And like they love the character, and they just want to give like, what if Batman was old? Do you know what if Batman died or whatever? Like, and now I kind of get it. Like, and now it's like, now filmmakers are doing the same. It's not their job to take things directly off the comic book page and recreate everything meticulously. It's their vision. They pick and choose. So I really like the Batman. I thought it was a 4-star movie, maybe even 4.5 stars. Yeah, I just like the tone of it, and I thought they did a great job. Yeah, film. Thanks for the subtitles there. But I'll tell you this: everyone's saying, "Oh, it's going to be too long." Okay, Terminator came out in 1984. Terminator 2, which is one of the greatest sequels ever, came out 7 years later in 1991. Alien came out in 1979, and one of the greatest sequels ever in 1986, Aliens. Top Gun came out in 1986, and then 34 years later, they dropped Top Gun Maverick in 2022. I think my math's at 36 years, actually. Yeah. One of the greatest sequels ever made as well. So it doesn't matter when it drops. It just matters. It all comes back to the simple thing. Give us a good story. Give us good dialogue. Give us good acting, special effects, action, that complete package. It doesn't matter when it happens. Once it does, I am getting skeptical that it will actually happen. I really want to see the second installment of this. I'd ideally love to see a trilogy. I want to see, put it up against The Dark Knight. It's always going to be compared against the Dark Knight trilogy. It's inevitable. But give the people what they want. A lot of people love this Batman, and if you don't, fine. But I do think it deserves a second bite of the cherry, personally. So I hope they can get their shit together. But DC are just, they're all over the shop.
God damn, that was a great take. This is for you.
You are my number one guy.
I don't know why it's so aggressive, but good job. Good job.
That's why we love it. It's like, I think they were actually together, right? And then he shot him. The Joker's cold as ice.
God damn. We do need a Bob, by the way. We do need a Bob. Third party, Mars Toys. Listen up. We need a Bob. Let's see here, Luis. I haven't got your take yet, buddy. What makes? I guess same question for you. Where does Pattinson's Batman rank on the scale of Batmans for you? And then, what are your thoughts on the delays here? Do you echo Shane's point? Are you like, no, if they don't do it soon, James Gunn's Batman's going to take over and nobody's going to care about this one anymore? What are your thoughts?
I like Pattinson's take. For me, I thought the film was really good. Definitely different from what we've seen prior to, because it's really kind of closer to Batman in terms of that detective and just the dark and grittiness of it. I do think that delays do obviously take away from the hype. Recently, the Into the Spider-Verse was delayed even more, and even my kids who saw that maybe almost 2 years ago, now it's delayed another year, I think. So it just takes away from the hype. And when you have a whole nother universe coming from DC, that we'll probably get a Gunn Batman before this new sequel comes out. So it's unfortunate. I think he played Batman really well. I've said it before, I'm just not a huge fan of the suit. So I'm looking forward to the sequel mainly for an updated suit, something a little bit, more traditional. But I'd still watch it for sure. And I'm, a fan of just how real world the film and the universe has been so far. So I'd be excited to watch it, but I won't lie. I think the Gunverse will take away some of that win from the sales, just because it's two different takes on the same character that we may or may not get at least a little breadcrumb before this new one comes out.
That's fair. Yeah, because I mean, Shane's point really resonated with me on it's not the length of time in between the sequel and the original, it's about the quality of the film. But usually the sequel isn't up against another character of the same name, right? Like Terminator Judgment Day is one of the best sequels of all time, but there wasn't another Terminator movie that they were making that we could judge it against either. And so that is a bit of a twist to what we're normally used to, because I agree, otherwise I don't think it would matter how long it takes, as long as it's good. Valkyrie, what's your favorite sequel of all time, and where does this Batman rank for you in terms of Batmans?
Favorite sequel of all time was The Dark Knight.
Ooh, nice call. Good call.
Yeah.
You're allowed to stay. Yeah, good call.
This guy's speaking my language.
Yeah.
That's right. I know I like you, yeah.
My favorite movie of all time was actually The Godfather for the longest time. I thought it was a great movie. But then when I saw Dark Knight, I'm like, yeah, this wins.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm a Christian Bale guy. Though
Christian Bale's your number one.
he's not number one, but I kind of like them all. I mean, let me see here, the Matt Reeves movie. I mean, that was okay, but I still liked how Robert Pattinson played it though, still too.
Yeah. So you'd go Christian Bale. Who would be your second?
Okay, this is kind of a weirdo.
We got Val Kilmer. We got George Clooney. We got
Batfleck.
Batfleck. Okay. Hey,
Batfleck, number two.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that would feel the same.
Yeah, number three would then be Michael Keaton, and yeah, after that maybe Pattinson. I mean, it sounds kind of funny, but Adam West would still be somewhere in there, but not in the top.
Okay, fair. My brother likes Adam West films. He's younger than me by about 5 years, but that is his favorite Batman and like set of Batman stories. And I'm like, man, like it was always too campy for me. I liked the grittier, darker takes of, Keaton verse and forward, but it's still fun to go back. And I've actually on my desk at work, I've got a red telephone that looks just like the Bat telephone from
nice.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. So cool. Well said, guys. Let's move on. But thank you so much for giving your thoughts there. I'm seeing all of the great comments in the chat here, guys. Thanks for being so engaged in the chat, by the way. We've got almost 65 people at one point there, kind of hovering around 60 watching. So again, if you don't mind hitting the like button, definitely appreciate it. Quick housekeeping here. This is our Tough Nut crew. This is the group of folks that right now support the Ben Thomas Show channel membership. It's $1.99 a month, so it's not crazy, but it does enter you in for things like nut badges beside your name. We do channel member giveaways all the time. I shouldn't say all the time. We do them pretty once every kind of 6 months. The last channel member giveaway was the alien xenomorph though, so a big giveaway for sure. The next one, I haven't planned it quite yet. I'm thinking once we hit 50 channel members, we'll do another channel giveaway. So we're at 40 channel members now. If you're interested, the link is in the chat as of right this current second. Everybody who is in blue has been a channel member for over a year though, so that's 25 of the 40 people have stuck around to be members. So guys, everybody on this list, extra thank you to you. However, of course, I'm just happy that you guys are here. So even if you don't want to be a channel member, there is no pressure for that as well. I'm just happy to see you guys in the chat and hanging out with us on Sundays. This is a closer look at those nut badges that are beside the channel member names though, just in case you are interested. Artwork courtesy of Dean the Dream Martin. I had to pay him because he's an artist, but he did give me some wonderful nut badges, and I am taking current requests right now. I'm gonna get him working on a Spider-Man nut, but I'm happy to take suggestions. So once you become a channel member, if there's a nut that you would like to see, let me know, of course. And then this is some of the emojis that you can use as part of your channel membership. But I do think it's that time of the show where we say hello to everybody in the chat, and then let's move into some 6-scale news. Let's get into that.
Is that everyone? I can want it more.
Nuts!
Assemble.
Nuts assemble. We have Valkyrie Magnus here in the chat as well as on the panel with us. Good day. Good to see you, good sir. Thank you so much for being here. We got Jagron too, Mr. Lane Kramer in the chat there. Love to see it. We got Figure Poser. What up though? Good to see you here, buddy. Thanks for being here. And he says nuts pouring down the drain. That sounds like a health condition. You should keep an eye out for that. I Am Vengeance is in the chat. Hello, collectors. Good to see you. We got Gary's Grails in the chat. Good afternoon, good sir. Thank you for being here. I'd love to see what grails you have in your collection, by the way. Let me know if you have a YouTube channel, and we will take a look. Akira in the chat with a yo. Good to see you. Very short and sweet. You'll love to see it. We got Figurecraft in the channel as well as on the panel. Love to see it. He's saying here, welcome everyone. It's time to get a little extra nutty, a little bit salty and still good. Yeah, fair. Okay. Depends on the day. Depends on the workout. Ethan, my bully Maguire will be here sometime this week, and I cannot wait. Personal grail for me. I need more from the Spider-Man 3 line. Hope they do it. We are going to talk about him today, so stick around for sure, my friend. We got pop culture relics here in the chat as well as on the panel. Welcome all. Good to see you here, Luis, always. 1 6-figure focus in the chat. I just assaulted the like button. Smash it. Like it's picking its teeth up. Go for the channel though. Got for the channel though. You should do the
Good
same.
for the channel. That's typo. Sorry.
Then tell us how you smashed it. God, it sounds dirty in all the ways. It's just a hard one to read. We got Ryan Dean here in the chat with us. Crazy week. Good to see you here. Glad to be hanging here with all you nuts. Hell yeah, man. Hope you're doing well, my friend, as well. Ethan says, "Oh Ben, us Canadians are always too stoned." You are. Well, I mean, it's legal since 2018. I don't know what you expect. It's easier to get than beer these days, and you get your co-op points on it, not to sell it. We got Sith Scale Collector Mike in the chat with us. What's up, boys? Have a great show. Good to see you here. Mike is feeling a little under the weather here today, but we are going to get him back sooner than later on the Let's Get Nuts show. We got the movie canon, Mr. Geo, in the chat with us as well. Hello, collectors. Good to see you, buddy. Let us know if you're having your show tonight, movie canon, Geo, and we will pump that at the end of the show as well. Make sure we tell people where to find you. We got Brick Artemis in the chat with us. Happy Sunday, everyone. I had a great time on Wednesday last week hanging out on the Wolfpack Wednesday with the boys over on the Jedi Knights Watch show. Brick was there, got a chance to hang out with him a little bit, as well as KG. He was back in the chat, and my God, the guy has matured as a man since the last time I saw him, but great to see that dude as well. Great show. If you are missing out, though, make sure you subscribe to a Brick Artemis, especially if you like Lego, 1/6 figures, Mondo, all of the good stuff. And he's got several babies now, so we got to support that man. Let's send him some super chats if you can. We got Cobras_collection in the chat. Greetings, panel and Ben and everyone. Wow, I didn't read that at all correctly. Greetings, Ben and panel is what that says. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Thanks for being here. As always, we've got Jose Plus in the chat. Jose G. Hernandez. Make sure you follow Jose Plus as well. I'll be on Jose's show in the coming weeks on I think the week of the 26th. Correct me if I'm wrong, fact checker. But that's a Saturday morning show on Meso Menos. I am going to be up against Feezy's Figures in the Shark Tank. So stay tuned for that, guys. I'll post that up. Dirk Diggler's stunt double, the inch matters. 100%. You would know since you are a kickstand. Meow_collector. Hello, fellow collectors. Good to see you, buddy. We got Blur Dad Life in the chat with us. Good afternoon to you, my friend, as well. Yomo in the chat. Yo, what's up, everyone? Hope you and your little one and your wife are doing well, my friend, as always. Mr. Mark P in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here, as always. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Darth Tamaris here. Hell yeah. Actually, Darth has his own YouTube channel, which I also really enjoy watching. I haven't been keeping up with it as much lately. Let me know if you got some new content on there, buddy, and I'll send some folks over your way as always. We got Tim Harvey in the chat, my favorite one of my favorite people out there. Millie Alcock is about to get this nuts. Oh my God, I shouldn't have read that out loud. I apologize to any of my 1% of female audience in the room for Tim Harvey. You'll have to see it. We got I Am Vengeance in the chat. Saying what's up to everybody. Let's see here. Adrian Underwood in the chat with us as well with a moose, because 12-inch Moose Stream is also here. Hello, community of collectors. I don't care for the new Supergirl suit. Moose, just give it a chance, man. It'll be fine. You're going to like it, buddy. Rogue One Photography in the chat with us. Hello to the 12-inch Moose Stream, and of course to everybody else as well. We got Dave, X-Men Supreme. I tried to get him here, guys. He told me he doesn't like me anymore. I don't know why. He says he's not going to stream with me anymore. So confirm whether that's still true, Dave, and we'll see how it goes. We got Big Dog Pound 1, who became a channel member last week on the Let's Get Nuts show. Of course, saying woo to everybody as always. We got Justin McFly in the chat as well, with positive vibes to everybody. We got Francesca in the chat. Oh no, he was born to play Witcher. Already covered that, but 100%, you are 100% correct. Ethan in the chat as well. Great to see you, my friend. I think that is almost everybody. King Dingaling channel member. Sorry I'm here late, afternoon all late, but still appreciate it, buddy. Matt, damn, this got delayed again. Yeah, jeez, you hate to see it. All right, I think that's everybody. Oh, we got the Watcher in the chat. What does he say here? He says, they're saying that Matt Reeves may be dealing with some health issues, hence the delay. Yeah, we mentioned that as well. That would suck. If he's dealing with health delays, obviously we wish him the best but we also still want our Batman 2 movie. That's just the way she goes. So, guys, that's all. Thanks for bearing with me while I said hi to everybody. I always appreciate you guys. Let's move into some 6 scale news, as we always do. I'm going to talk a little bit about this post from Sideshow as well as X06, because you guys know that I cover mostly Hot Toys or Star Trek figures on my YouTube channel. We're not going to talk politics at all. I have no interest in talking politics. I'm a Canadian after all, so I barely even know what's going on with your politics other than what I see in the news media. But what does affect me is the potential for tariff-related charges on my 6-scale figures. Sideshow, we've been kind of waiting for an announcement from them, and basically what they've said here, to kind of summarize things, is based on current conditions, we anticipate the fee based on tariffs will be a 6% increase to what we see in terms of our figures. Now, that's not our MSRP on our figures. That is more of like a tariff related charge. They are saying here in their post that if the tariff situation does remedy itself, essentially, that they'll take that 6% away. That'll no longer be necessarily a factor. I'm going to hold them to that, because one thing that I've noticed over my years of collecting in 6 scale is that typically when prices rise, they don't really go back down. Now, Sideshow being the company that they are, at least in the United States, one of the official distributors, or the official distributor of Hot Toys in the States, that's where most of our Canadian friends here get our 6 scale from as well. We already pay custom charges to get things over the border here, and customs and I should say, and conversion costs and all of the above. That extra 6% is going to suck. But it's not as bad as I expected it to be. When I heard that the tariffs were looking at like a 145% tariff, I didn't know how that would impact businesses, especially for the collecting community. And 6% seems relatively reasonable. To put that into perspective, a $300 figure, that's about a $20 increase in your total price. So not necessarily, for me at least, a deal breaker in terms of my 6 scale collecting. But if you amortize that over, 10 figures a year or more, that's still potentially upwards of one less figure that you'll buy every single year. And then X06 here, just to quickly summarize them as well, it does sound like, I'll read it. It might be a little bit easier. Anything under $800 that wasn't subject to U.S. import fees, all orders placed by X06 website counted and were taxed entering the U.S. starting May 2nd. Small shipments that once qualified for de minimis will be taxed at 120% or cost, which is $100 or whichever is more, with the planned increase. So it does sound like this is going to affect cost of X06 figures more so coming in to the States, because they are also based in China. So something to consider. The only question I really have for the panel here is how is the tariff situation affecting you guys? Is this something that, I know, like Shane, obviously you're in a different country from the US and Canada as well. Is this something that's affecting you? The slightly higher bump in pricing, if you buy from Sideshow, does that make much of a difference? Is this going to change your strategy for collecting at all? Or are you still going to kind of keep driving forward? Where are you at this point, buddy?
No.
Easiest answer ever. No to what specific question?
Well said.
I have been talking about this for years on my channel, and I think people glaze over. So finally, people will realize, okay, maybe what he was talking about it's kind of not the exact same. We've had tariffs for years. We just don't call them tariffs. It was like VAT or customs, import charges. I do not buy from Sideshow from that reason. The only time I buy from Sideshow is if I have played their Sir Sideshow app game and earned all the points, basically free money to give away, or signed up to their Spooktacular or Geeks Giving, and you get $5 every time you do that. You do that enough, you might get $50 of free money, and you got to use it. Compare that maybe at 30% off, and then maybe it's worth my while. Little bit of simple maths. $400 Iron Man figure. It'll cost me at least $50 to ship it over to Ireland. That's $450. And then basically another 30% on top of that, because it's goods and services. So, I mean, you're talking $585 for a figure that should be $400. That is unsustainable for us here. Well, it's unsustainable for me. People in Ireland still do buy from Sideshow, but the most people go, okay, this is not sustainable. And even if it was, I don't want to pay something. You pay something, the price you pay is based on if you think you're going to get the value from it. And I don't think personally, I'm not willing to pay $585 for, say, a particular Iron Man or every Iron Man. It's unsustainable. So we have to find alternative routes. We have to find companies that we can buy from that maybe you don't get charged customs. It's not my responsibility to work out the customs. You basically slap with a bill or you don't. So if I don't get slapped with a bill, happy days, I don't have to pay anything. That's why I go with Hong Kong. But that opens a different kettle of fish then, because it's like, it can be the Wild West. You're kind of like, in this case, the Wild East. You're kind of wondering, okay, who's reputable, who's not. So you got the likes of Toys Wonderland you don't buy from, or whoever else, whatever. And then you find someone that you're comfortable buying with, and you go with that, because that's why I go with Line Rock. Long before I even like had any sort of agreement with them, they were doing free worldwide shipping, and I'd heard people, reputable collectors in Ireland and reputable collectors outside of Ireland, recommending them, that not only to get free worldwide shipping, but then people in Ireland who are ordering from them and, say, Toys Buying Agent, there another one, not getting stung for customs. Not getting stung for customs is enough to make it worthwhile, but you throw in the free shipping, and that makes it a big deal. So this is stuff that people in Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales, parts of Europe have been dealing with for years, and you either bite the bullet and collect less, or you kind of find a retailer who's reputable that can ship it to you, and you avoid paying those, call them tariffs, call them whatever you want, but we've been dealing with this for years, so it's not going to affect me, because I'm still going to go straight with Line Rock. The odd time I buy from Sideshow, yeah, it'll affect me then, because as well as all the other stuff I've just described, you're probably going to have an extra whatever percentage. You're saying it's 6, but these talks aren't finished. No one really knows. Every single thing that I've seen in the last week on YouTube is tariffs. And I'm happy it doesn't affect me, but it sucks for my friends who it does affect. Of course. But these guys are playing political chicken, and this is going to go on for a while, and eventually they'll settle on something. It's not going to be these crazy numbers, 145%, 144%. They're going to have to settle and agree on something, because that's how things get done. Like, so.
That makes sense. No, very well said, dude. Very well said. And it's interesting to have the perspective, again, from somebody in a different country to me in Canada, or even in the US, friends here as well. Tim Harvey says, I was anticipating having to tap out with only 6% increase. It's certainly doable for sure. Francesca says, I'm in the Europe, but it's not affecting me, but you can never know. Yeah, it's hard to know how it will ultimately come around for you there as well. And then the Watcher says, if they're smart, Sideshow and only figure company for the matter, Sideshow and any other figure company for that matter, would be smart if they get their supply chains moved out of China and to do example Vietnam. So just moving kind of where you get your figures from.
So Ben, who's overseas now?
Well. And we're all overseas, man.
You're all overseas now.
Yeah, we're all overseas. That's okay. Guys, I got a very special announcement in the chat. I called him out here earlier. I said I don't think he likes me anymore. Well, he's made an appearance to justify his love for me. Let's be honest here. We got X-Men Supreme is back in the house. Let's get nuts. You love to see it. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Oh, we're limping along here. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, you actually sound pretty crispy, I will say. I know you were worried about it. So.
Yeah, well, I'm over here like riding the faders on my Bluetooth speaker. For everyone who doesn't know, my dumb self locked my earbuds in the U-Haul, and I'm waiting for them to come and open it up. So I'm sitting here just janky as all hell. So we'll see how this goes.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Well, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here, as always. If you need to stick around or if you need to skip out, just let me know, and we'll go from there. Rogue One Photography says, well said, Shane. For the first time ever, us guys overseas are better off. Definitely the case. Philly, how are you finding this, like the tariff situation? Again, leaving politics aside, just some of the uncertainty in the world. Has that changed your perspective on collecting at all? You have one of the bigger collections of my friends that I'm buddies with. You have one of the bigger collections. How is this changing your approach kind of moving forward, or is it at all? Are you just going to kind of weather the storm?
For me, it's if anything, I always try to look at things on the positive side. If anything, like if people out there are kind of like stressed about it and worried, think of it this way. Think of it as an intervention. It's like, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to take a break, take a breather, or actually look into stuff that you really want that would mean a lot to you versus something that everybody has and I want it. So it's gonna slow down my pre-ordering a little bit. I'm gonna take a while back, and there's figures that I've passed on, and 3-4 years later I end up getting them in the aftermarket. That's very possible. So this situation that we're in right now, if anything, is giving you some time to catch up on your current payments, or reconsider figures that are the secondary market, because the secondary market is going to bloom with all the situation going on right now. But think of it on the positive side. I mean, maybe I need to scale it down. Maybe I need to spend more responsibly. Maybe I need to pay off some other figures before I get more figures. And let's weigh it out and see how it pans out. And companies, they obviously they have a profit margin, and they're not gonna post a figure that's twice as much where it was last year. That's not gonna happen, and nobody's gonna want to buy it. If it's too expensive for you, just don't buy it. And they know that. So they're trying to sort of absorb the cost in some ways, but also trying to communicate to the customers like, it's we're working with you, we're doing the best we can, and this is what we have right now to give you an idea of what's going to be like. And it's, people are kind of okay, all right, cool, we'll pan it through. But if you really are serious about it, just take a break and start rethinking your whole collection and try to budget smarter than as opposed to just I'm guilty of that too. I buy stuff because other people take pictures of it and I think it's cool. And I bought the Spider-Man 2099, loved it, but I also got the black suit Hondo, and I thought I was gonna love it, but it wasn't my cup of tea. And I quickly went I just want to get rid of this figure. I wish I wouldn't have bought it. So yeah, I gotta be more careful with that. So think of it as a positive. That's all I gotta say for that.
It's interesting, Philly. You make some great points there, because Luis, when I think about collecting, when I started collecting, I was watching YouTubers when I started as well, and streamers and everything, and back then the prices were a little bit more reasonable, so it was a lot more manageable to hear people say, oh, I'm gonna buy pretty much everything. If it was on the show sheet, I'm gonna buy that, I'm gonna buy that, I'm gonna buy that, I'm gonna buy that. And by the end of a 2-hour show, you're like, holy shit, these guys are in it for several $1,000s just from this one episode of figures, let alone everything that came out. But as figures started to rise in price, I've seen the change or the shift in the streaming community and in collecting just in general of, buying everything doesn't make any sense anymore. You actually have to be more strategic. So I feel like we were already moving towards this, and now with some additional pricing maybe attached to that can change things. But does that change your outlook overall on collecting, or do you feel like you're still kind of strategizing in the same way, kind of like Philly's mentioning? Maybe there's just a couple pieces you just don't need anymore as a result.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of great companies out there, a lot of competition. And because of that, I have to be very selective now in what I buy. Even Hot Toys. I mean, I've sold a good handful of my collection, and I put it to fund towards other pieces. But I find myself more collecting Star Wars above everything else, as opposed to it was, maybe split up Star Wars, MCU, DC. So now I've gone to a point where, unless it's a character or a representation of a figure character that they probably won't ever make in any other scale, then that's how I've been selective. But yeah, I mean, I think kind of Nintendo with this whole Switch 2 and the pricing, blaming it on the tariffs and making games $90 and $80, and that's kind of where people are now starting to get priced out, and companies will soon realize, hey, we need to figure it out, otherwise we're going to lose that kind of casual customer or gamer. And I think the same thing could be had for collecting. You'll have your purists and your loyalists for every brand out there, but if there's another company that takes over a license that only Hot Toys has, then people are going to go to there because they can expect maybe more for the same value. So yeah, I just think that me personally, I'll be more selective as to what I buy. But for the most part, in this case, if Hot Toys and Sideshow has their exclusive, if that's going to be the only way for me to get it, then I just have to bite the bullet.
Totally fair. Totally fair. Valkyrie, I'll be curious from you. And guys, if you don't mind, just keep an eye on private chat there as well. Valkyrie, is there any line that you're now willing to consider not collecting because of changes in pricing over the last little while of you collecting? I know you were newer, but kind of within the year or 2 years now of collecting, right? Is there anything that you're like, you know what, I'm going to actually cut that line. I'm not going to pursue that anymore because of pricing, or are you just being strategic? How are you tackling this situation?
I think right now I'm just like maintaining the course, going as planned. But I do have a contingency plan. Like for me, I think I pre-ordered like a bunch of stuff, and I'm already like looking at which ones will be axed and which ones won't be if the tariffs actually do happen. Like for example, I noticed at 6%, that's still doable, and I think there was a projected 30%, and I was like, I could still kind of manage 30%, but if it goes like anything higher than that, I might have to consider like cutting back on certain things. And it's for me, as you know, like I'm a Star Wars, Marvel, and DC guy, but certain aspects, like probably like the Ahsoka series, is probably where I'll start make cuts first if I have to do that. Yeah, I mean, like I still don't have Sabine, and I'm hoping I get her before that, and then also a few of the Marvel ones, I'm really excited about getting Black Suit Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I'm just hoping I can get that before the tariffs start, or if the tariffs aren't too high, see if I can like pay a little extra. That's because that's one I probably will have to get. And then like if it's someone else like Hera or let me see here, maybe even Ahsoka the White. She might have to make the cut also, but we'll see. You know, it's like we'll get there when we get there is what I'm saying, and for now we'll just stay the course until we actually have to make changes. But then I'm ready for that too.
Totally fair. Dave, you were saying you think you might have some value add. What are your thoughts on this, buddy?
Well, as someone who has been in a season of culling, so to speak, over the last few months, since everything's been coming out from Deadpool and Wolverine, and since I've been getting deeper into other things like the Mondo X-Men line, and they've been expanding that, I was in a place where I wasn't seeing a lot of my favorite stuff coming out, but I was getting stuff that I liked. Well, now all the stuff that's coming out is my favorite stuff, it seems like. So I have canceled a lot of things, but I've not really whittled down my pre-order list. I've really just replaced a lot of things on it. So now I'm in that area where I have to decide, well, what of my favorites have to go, possibly. And that's not fun. But like I cut down about half of what I had on pre-order from the Ahsoka line. That's a great line, as I think everyone can attest. But you know, I have like 4, I think, must-haves, like, you know, Ahsoka, Hera, Chopper, and Sabine. And I really want to have Padawan Ahsoka. Ahsoka's, you know, one of my favorite characters. So that's like 5 that I'm like, you know, I gotta have these at some point eventually. And I'm already playing the long game on Sabine and Chopper right now. So we'll see how all that goes. But like, you know, we just had the Arcane stuff come up. And, you know, Vi and Jinx are my girls. And I'm like, yeah, they're freaking awesome. I gotta have those figures. Well, we're about to find out just how important they are, because because the scheisse is hitting the fan, so to speak. So
Fair.
like,
That's fair.
I would really stress to those people who are, who are trying to cultivate at the moment and are finding themselves in a similar bind to really, like I told Justin one time, look at your true north and really focus on that, because if things keep going the way that they're going, if it's going to be a while or whatever, we don't know how far out they're gonna keep pushing things, because things have been getting pushed, as they do. But we've got a lot of things about to drop too. Maybe I don't know. They pushed back like a bunch of Jack Sparrows as they've been releasing that. So
Yeah,
who knows?
The one I helped you acquire is still just sitting there as like shipping pending. It still hasn't.
Yes,
been
and
that
the
was
one
like,
that I
that's
was
like 2 months.
Yeah, and the one that I was getting to someone else, with everything going on with I don't want to speak for his reasons, but I can understand why, with everything going on with the artisans lately, with the issues that people have been talking about, with the projected, higher cost and tariffs and all that. He's out on that, and I'm like, no, I don't blame you, dude. I don't blame you at all. So I've got 2 of those guys that I'm on the hook for right now. So we'll see how that goes. But
Crazy.
it is. There are tricks though. Like, if, for instance, I didn't know this because I'm still kind of new. And if anyone out there is new, I realized that because I had set a lot of my figures to not do the payment plans and to just pay off when they come out. And I found out with Jack Sparrow here that you can set it to a payment plan after it's released and still have it set out for a few months. I didn't know that. Now, unless that changes, maybe that's an option. Maybe that's, a play for somebody to consider. If they don't want to
in advance and then give you some buffer time.
Yeah, try and delay it
that.
as long as you can. Maybe something will change and you'll be good to go. Who knows? But from my understanding, Sideshow was doing a thing where if the tariffs bring something up in cost, that you can get your NRD back. Is that right?
That's what I've heard. I haven't seen it confirmed yet from my own eyes, but that is what I've heard.
Well, either way, it might be better just to let them have an NRD than to spend 3 times an NRD to get the thing and maybe find it later in the aftermarket.
I don't think that the 6% is the deal breaker by any stretch, like Tim Harvey said earlier. Like, I think that's a storm I could weather if it's a figure I really, or a character I really want. But I agree with you. I put in the chat here, Dave, just so you know, like I put in the chat a poll just so everybody can. We have 65 people watching. Everybody can vote if you don't mind. How many figures do you have? Or do you typically buy every year? Is it 0 to 10? Is it 20, 30, 40 plus, 50 plus? Like, where are you at? Because 6%, then, especially if it comes from places like Sideshow, really do start to add up. So let me know. We'll let that run for a few minutes longer, but I'll be curious to see, because, obviously we have Dave, and I know you and I, we joke, right? Because we always see each other in other live streams as well. But there's like the 60 to 70 people who are watching live right now. Usually these folks are the mainstays. These are the people who are the hardcore collectors. They tune into all the streams. They're always up to date on the news, right? Like, they're buying figures regularly. But just like, if you think about it, like, if all of us buy 30 figures a year just on average, that's a wild amount of money that goes towards these companies every year. So it also may highlight what the margins are on these, right? When Hono came out as a brand, and that Hono Wolverine with the seamless body and all the things was like $165. I thought for me that pulled the curtain back, right? The Wizard of Oz. Suddenly we realized the cost of what these actually, like what they actually cost to make versus what we typically are used to charging. And so I know Sideshow doesn't make most of these Hot Toys figures. Obviously, they're just a distributor, but maybe is that a reason why they're able to weather so much of that tariff increase? Hard to say.
Ben.
Perhaps. I know me, I've got like 3 artisans that are supposed to be released this year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who?
You have an extra...
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money right there.
It is a lot of money. It adds up very quickly. What are your thoughts, Shane? Did you have an extra thought?
Just want to touch on something there. Like, you speak a lot about price conditioning, and you're not wrong. If something goes up by $5, people might go. You'd always have people who give out, but like people might go, it's only $5, and I get that. I can see both sides to the argument. It's only $5, but I can see the other people going, it's $5 now, and it's the slow knife that gets you. There's an analogy before that. There's two frogs. One frog is put into a saucepan of water, and the saucepan is gradually increased in temperature. So it's in the water, it's nice, it's its optimum temperature, frogs loving life, and it gets increased by a degree and another degree and another degree and another degree, and it's, this is lovely and warm, and eventually that frog will boil to death. But the frog that if you just drop it into boiling water, the shock of it, it'll kick so hard and it'll jump out. Now, it's not a scientific thing. It's just it's an analogy. It's like slow knife that gets you. So Philly and Dave kind of said similar things. Like Philly said, like, this could be like a reality check. It was like, like, do you really need things? This is because this is the boiling water. Do you know what I mean? If it comes to fruition and there is like a serious tariff put on, it's the boiling water for a lot of people going, okay, what's important now? And Dave kind of said something similar as well. It's like your Jinx and your Vi or whatever. It's like the Shiza will hit the fan or whatever. It's like, we'll see how important those characters are now. Because are you going to pick two characters? Now, I haven't watched the show in its entirety. I've seen like 3 episodes. But are you going to watch a show that you really, really liked or maybe even love that's new? Are you going to pick that over, like, say, like someone who's a diehard Star Wars fan who has a chance to get an artist in Anakin? Most people, I would imagine, will stay true to the stuff that they've liked for the last 20 years because there's more of a chance that they will like it in 20 years. For me, I always go on about my triple threat, but really that's turned into like a quadruple threat now because it's like, do I love this character? Do I love the source material? Do I love that version? And the most important thing, which isn't in there, is, will I like this in 10 years' time? I worked backwards and got the 1987 Robocop in a chair. I worked backwards and got Ben Kenobi. I worked backwards and got the DX-13 because I knew they were kind of solid bets. I will like them in 10 years' time because I've liked them since I was 10 years old watching those movies when I shouldn't have been watching them. So it's a slow knife that gets you.
Well said. Well said. Great analogies. Guys, let us know in the chat that there was a longer segment than I expected, but a great conversation from the panel. Thank you, and everybody in the chat. Some really great comments there as well. Thanks for keeping it political free. I appreciate that as well. But let us know how this, looming tariff situation is affecting your thoughts on collecting. For me, it definitely has made me look at my collection a little more objectively. Figures that I don't feel like I necessarily need are being canceled. I've sold a couple things. The secondary market has, for the last year, been terrible, but maybe we will see a bit of a resurgence on the secondary market, especially if tariff brings pricing up. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, that's for sure. We're about the halfway point through the show here. We got 70 folks watching. If you don't mind hitting the like button, if you haven't already, if you're just joining us, we're having fun. We still got quite a bit of Hot Toys news to cover. I do want to talk very briefly about hands, of all things. So these are the Han Solo hands that were shown, the newly sculpted hands with natural details for the Han Solo figure that is coming out this year. And this was actually something that I was very excited about because when they showed this, I was like, oh, great. Hot Toys is making a conscious effort to make hands look better. But then I got my John Wick 4, and you can see the John Wick 4 hand on the left versus the Sideshow Beetlejuice on the right. And I will be honest, when I told people I was getting the Sideshow Beetlejuice, people were like, oh, Sideshow is horrible. They're shit figures, blah, 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 like on and on and on and on. But then I started looking at the quality, and I'm like, okay, like, is Sideshow really that bad? Because, man, I like that Beetlejuice figure, A. B, the body seems pretty stiff and able to stand by itself without a base. And look at these freaking hands in comparison to Hot Toys official hands from a new release figure. Those John Wick 4 hands are terrible. They are freaking terrible. And they're not getting that much better. But there are customizers out there. There are people like Jackson Jew, shout out to Jackson Jew, that is giving these hands a place in the marketplace. If you're unhappy with your 6 scale hands, you can buy some that look a little bit better, and these look amazing. Like, look at the vein work in the hands there. You can actually see like the green of the veins in there. He's got like cuticle skin and stuff. I'm like, oh my god,
What a time to be alive, guys!
what a time to be alive.
Look at the vein work on these
Look
6-scale
at-
hands.
It's insane. It blows
You're not
me
wrong.
away.
You're not
It
wrong.
blows me away. And I know, Shane, the reason I actually was happy you were here on the show today is because I know that you were already pre-anticipating not liking your John Wick 4 hands and actually looking on the secondary on the custom market, I should say, for potentially hands to pair with that figure, right? But like, do we as collectors need to expect more from Hot Toys going forward? Why did they give us those detailed hand sculpts for Han Solo and then just kind of stop talking about it? Was there just not enough hype or excitement there? That's kind of what I want to pose the question back to you guys. And if it's not hands, if you don't care about hands, then what else is it? What else do you want to see as upgrades from 6 scale going forward? Because we're getting the rooted hair now. Some of the materials are getting vastly improved from like pleather to leather to a certain extent, but not everybody. For me, I think it's the details of things like hands. Shane, tell me what your thoughts are here, seeing those Beetlejuice hands next to Hot Toys and what you can get with custom. It is a time to be alive. Tell me your thoughts.
I will say some Hot Toys hands are pretty damn incredible, to be fair. I just think the John Wick 4 is a good example of some are. Yeah, there's I can't recall any really good hands right off the top of my head. You know, I can't. Interestingly, I restyled my God, okay, I don't want to tell this in like 10 seconds, right? So, you know, when I ordered the Heat Ledger in our rooted 2-pack, I got 2 copies of the non-smirking sculpt. Eventually, Line Rock told me to send one of them, the one that was on the jail cell version, out to them. They sent it back. When they sent it back, they packed it so well, it kind of compressed the hair, so it looked like it had no volume, and of course, that kind of hardened the product. So I recently restyled the hair, just like little tiny brush, lots of water. Got rid of a lot of the product, a little toothpick just to separate the hair and give it a lot more volume. And I was really, really happy it turns out. There's a few shorts and reels on my Instagram, stuff like that. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I have him just standing. I've always had him seated because, you know, the jail cell is incredible. But I had him standing with the gloves on as if he's clapping. You know, it's not canon or whatever, but man, the detail on those goddamn hands. It's got the white makeup and the dirt and the grime and the like wrinkles and the knuckles. They're so well done. And of course it's the seamless wrists as well, which adds to it. Fantastic. And like you said, I got the John Wick coming as well, and I got on to Bob Dylan, and now I have a John Wick dog on the way. If people are worrying about tariffs and I'm over here spending stupid money on a 6-scale bloody dog, but it will look incredible and it will look better than the hands. But I did contact someone that Bob Dylan recommended for custom made 6-scale hands, but the guy he's a customizer, and he's just too busy. He had ones from John Wick 2 or 3, and I didn't want to put the 2 or 3 hands on John Wick 4 because I need the one less finger in the left hand. But yeah, absolutely, like these things on the screen are incredible. It blows my mind how people can do this, and I do think Hot Toys should up their game on that. The details, the vein works, the wrinkles and stuff like that in the hands, because they can do it. They absolutely can do it, but they should do it. Yeah, sorry. It's the hands, and then the normal stuff that everyone else is going to complain about. The USB powered Iron Man needs to happen, or Iron Men. The artisan line, figure out what you are. I mean, you're doing the lamb's wool hair or whatever, the wool hair, whatever it's called. Sort out your glue. Simple thing. That goes out to Inard as well. Because you've had
your glue.
Sort out your glue, man. Like, it's not that hard. Get decent quality glue. End of. Hey, Ben's gone. I annoyed him so much. He didn't sort it. Let's continue on. Anyway, glue needs to be sorted out. It's not just Hot Toys. It's Inard have the issue sometimes as well. I know that the faceplate on the magnet for the faceplate on one of the patents and faceplates that I had, the magnet had popped off, so it's not a big deal. I just glue it back on myself, but I shouldn't have to do that. The artisan line stuff should be genuine leather. They've had an opportunity there. Stop giving us the generic bases. Just give us a Dio base or something like that. There's a bunch of different things they could absolutely do and they're capable of doing, but they are kind of cutting corners. I'm out. I'm done. Sorry, folks.
That's what we're going to say. They do cut corners, and it's because they've been doing a lot of quantity versus quality. They've been, pumping more figures year over year, and some of the quality has dropped. And that goes with the hands. And whenever they react towards whatever trend's going. But this has been a hot items ever since Bob Dylan brought it to fruition, and now they see that there are customizers making these hands, and now they're saying, "Hey, look at us!" Just like the magnetic base and rooted hair or glued hair or whatever. So, hey, welcome back, buddy. Just want to keep on the conversation here. You okay?
Hey, I could still hear you. I just had to pee. There was too many beers. I didn't mean to take myself fully out of the stream, but I can still hear you guys. Great points all around. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, overshare from Ben. You'll love to see it.
I think Luis had something to say. Oh, sorry.
Lokaloo, when details are slacking, you can tell Hot Toys is the new Hasbro. Ooh, hate to see it. Luis, what do you think about hands? Detail of hands, is that important to you? Like, where you collect lots of different scales. Where does this lie for you?
Me personally, a detailed hand is always great. I won't, knock it if it's included. I think more if Hot Toys has done articulated Iron Man hands and they don't do it with pieces that have a similar hand, that's where they need to get back on board. I think this is just more of a customization. Ultimately want the best representation of that one character that you love and you've poured a lot and invested from the portrait down to the hands and the clothing, then I think that's where the market really is. But at the same time, Hot Toys needs that kick where you have these other companies that are getting more detailed, hence now they have these separate eyeball rolling system with most figure releases, right? So as more companies get the finer details more polished, then that's where Hot Toys will then market to that. Similar to the whole Android and Apple thing, right? Android's had it years previously. Once Apple does it, now all of a sudden it's a new thing and they're the latest and the greatest and the innovator. So I can enjoy a good hand here and there, but it's not a selling point to me. The fact that Han Solo has it, great. That means I'll have to buy the extra hands for A New Hope Solo, right? So I'll take it, but yeah, it's not going to make or break the figure if the hands aren't quite there. But they should be at a consistent level where if they've had good hands with previous figures, they should at least keep it the same or improve over time.
Fair, because I think that there's an element of overkill as well. Like I was saying to Shane earlier with my John Wick 4 figure, the way that I've got his hands holding the guns is really, you can just tell that they just look like hands. I'm not seeing them that close, and when I look at most of my figures, I'm looking at them from probably 3 feet away. So then you're not seeing some of those details. But I will say, the in-art Joker, like you mentioned, with the seamless forearms and stuff, and the paint, and seeing the paint in the fingernails and stuff, really did add an element of value for me. It did make me feel like this is a premium offering, not like Hasbro, like Lokaloo mentioned earlier, right? It doesn't feel that way. It feels like that next level of collectible, because I got into 6-scale collecting with the thought in mind that what I was trying to create in my display was essentially shrunken down versions of that human himself or themselves or herself, right? That person is in my display, hands and all. Was that a little optimistic? Yeah, I think that there's an in between. The John Wick 4 hands look like shit. But do we need something as detailed as these? Probably not. I think that there is a good in between. But I do think we should continue to ask for more from Hot Toys that way.
It also depends on the figure. I mean, I think the whole popularity of the hands, of these relaxed hands, came from Man of Steel, because of that pose that Henry Cavill posed, that he's just very relaxed with those muscles he's got, and his hands are just chilling like that. This got popular because you don't want to get those third-party plasticky hands on Henry Cavill's Superman. You want something like this. So yeah, it depends on the figure, and there's other figures that you don't need hands that look that good because you're having them in different positions. So But yeah, it's also depending on the figure.
Well said, guys. Let's move on. Panelists who didn't get a chance to have a take on this one, Valkyrie and Dave, I'll get you guys on the next one here. Jazz Inc. has given us an update on their Penguin figure. Now, they have said in the parentheses, this has not been weathered yet. This is not a final look, necessarily. But the head sculpts sounding like they're nearing completion, at least in terms of what we'll kind of look at or what we'll expect from our figures. The outfits themselves will have more weathering. I will be wrong direction. I will be honest. I don't like these as much as I liked the Catwoman. I thought Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman from Jazz Inc. was like, God damn, that looks like Michelle Pfeiffer. Like, wow. And while the Penguin, Danny DeVito here, is obviously in prosthetic makeup, it doesn't help his cause necessarily. I'm not liking these as much, and I'm not sure what it is specifically that I don't like. Now, to caveat that, I still think that these are better than the third-party representations that are currently available. I still think that this will 100% be the best Penguin that exists in 1/6 scale. But there's something about the faces that I'm not like totally loving. I can put the weathering aside for the outfit. I'm sure they'll do that just fine. Has this changed your excitement at all? Has it amped it up? I see Loco Lu saying he really likes this and he needs it. I don't know. I don't know why I'm feeling like I don't love it as much as I thought I would, because I'm really freaking excited about my Catwoman that I've got on order from them. Dave, I'll start with you, buddy. What are your thoughts here on the kind of the showing of Jazz Inc.'s Penguin at this point?
I think it looks like him. He's emoting a lot. He looks weird.
He's
when he does it.
emoting a lot.
He's not a. I don't know if you know this about this Penguin, but he's not a pretty man. He looks rather perturbing when he's just sitting there existing. It feels pretty good to me. I do think that the one face where he's kind of like is a little weird. The one that's on the
Can you show us that again, just for the sake of the record?
Nope. You can rewind and watch the tape.
You can watch the tape. We need clips, guys. Clips or it didn't happen.
But I think the smiling face. I think that looks good. I think the face in the back looks good. I do think this one's weird, but I kind of like it. I think the hair looks good. I think the paint apps look great. I think it looks good overall. Mm-hmm. That is a weird face that he's making. That really is.
On the right-hand picture, it is a bit of a weird face. Tim Harvey says, I like the look of the portrait and the costuming, but I think the hair needs to be darker. I agree with that. I think that on the right-hand side, it looks like he's almost got gray hair, and I think that might just be the lighting. But
that's true.
Hard to say.
Yeah, that's true.
Hard to say. And I mean, I would love to get Yost on the channel at some point. I know most of the other 6 scale channels have had him on at some point. I've never even asked or invited him. I'm sure he'd be willing at some point, but I'd be curious to pick his brain on, how he still makes these selections. Like, I know he's put up renders in his groups before of like faces that he thinks looks good for Michelle Pfeiffer. Did he do the same thing with Penguin here? I'd be curious. He needs a little chunk of ear in one of these mouths, in my opinion. If you're being accurate, but. I don't know. I'm just not loving it for some reason. I'm having a hard time articulating why that might be the case. Do any of you guys otherwise on the panel have any thoughts on this before we move to Dark Side Anakin? Just curious. I don't want to miss anybody if you feel passionate about this at all. Oh, good. We're good. Let me pull up the poll, guys. I meant to have pulled this up earlier. So we had 40 votes on the poll there. I said here in the poll, how many figures do you guys buy per year? 0 to 10 was 57% of our audience. So there's 70 people watching. So that's quite a big portion. 10 to 20 figures is 30%. 30 to 40 is only 5%. And then there's 50 plus, which is still a solid 8%. So it seems like if you collect more than 20, then you're likely going to collect somewhere like 50. The 30 to 40% or 30 to 40 figures a year is the small metric. So, but I think that 0 to 10 is the kicker, right? I think most people collect in that neighborhood per year. So it's interesting to see how that'll again be affected by tariffs and looming price increases, all of the above. Let's move on to this, guys, because I want to talk about Dark Side Anakin here. Well, what I should say is Darth Vader Sith Apprentice. Let's be honest, that's what he's called. and I should name him by his name. When this figure was announced, I gave my Ben Thomas Show video take on him, and I was pretty critical because for me, I was like, why the hell would this have any level of inaccuracy at all? This is not the first time we've seen this figure. This was their opportunity to correct some of the inaccuracies from the past. Why does he come with a red lightsaber? Why are his eyes lacking the yellow pupil that are so iconic to the Sith eyes? Why is this not leather yet? Why? And then I had some people challenge me in my comments, which I appreciate because it gives me some time to think about it a little bit more. And I've had some people tell me, well, Ben, this must be the Ahsoka version of Anakin Skywalker. And I said, well, maybe, but if that's the case, then his hair is wrong and he doesn't look as aged. So in my opinion, if Artisan is supposed to be the premium hairstyling that they are, then they still got it wrong. So I don't think that that's what it is. And if it is Ahsoka, obviously they can't call it Ahsoka because there's only going to be 25 of these in 2,525. It's going to feel like 25. There's only going to be 2,500 of these in existence. So anybody that's an Ahsoka line collector isn't going to be able to get this in their display for the most part. People who are line collectors will be pissed. So they can't call it Ahsoka, and I don't think that that's what it is. To me, I think this is a mishmash of several different cool ideas for an Anakin Skywalker. Because I think that this is meant for an exclusive for Japan so that at some point they can come out with a proper Revenge of the Sith Dark Side Anakin 2.0 that's in general circulation. And at that point, that's when they're going to do things like give us leather. They're going to say, like, yeah, we know how much you guys loved those other versions. Look how much better this is. Just like they did with Chrome Mando. I would not be shocked to see that happen. I think if you are stressed about not getting this in your display, I feel that stress. When I've put polls out in our previous Let's Get Nuts chats, more than 60% of the audience would have rathered a dark side look than the light side look for Anakin. That's clearly what people want. If Hot Toys just ignores that entirely and this is all we get, then they're leaving money on the table. And I'm talking serious money on the table because the majority of us, I think, would go after an upgraded version of Darkside Anakin. But I could be speaking out my ass. I'd be curious to see what the panel thinks. For me, I think this figure looks great, but he's inaccurate. And is he inaccurate on purpose? I'm starting to think so. I'm starting to think that my critical take on this may have just been generally inaccurate because of a strategy, not because they're just blind to accuracy. But Shane, I'll start with you, buddy, first on this one. Darth Vader. This is technically, I think, the first Darth Vader that's deemed limited other than that color graded one that we saw last week, the blue and red, like lighted look. I can't remember what they called that one. What are your thoughts here on Darth Vader, not Darkside Anakin 2.0?
They are 100% doing this to drag any last bit of money out before they release the inevitable, actual Revenge of the Sith anniversary Darkside Anakin. That's actually the proper, correct Darkside Anakin from Revenge of the Sith, which is the one that people more than likely want. Yeah, I've seen people say the Ahsoka comment as well. We discussed that, I think, in the Hope Show as well, kind of on Monday night, just kind of talking about it, kind of about how people were speculating it is Darth Vader from the Ahsoka show, but then again, the Ahsoka show, I think the hair is different. He looked, I know he was older playing the role, but they de-aged him. But it's still, the hair wasn't the same as this. I don't even think the outfit was the same from what I remember. But I know that, look, if he was called Darth Vader at one stage. It's like henceforth you'll be known as Darth Vader by Sidious, but it's not branded Revenge of the Sith. If it was supposed to be Revenge of the Sith, you'd have the blue lightsaber, although he does actually come with the blue lightsaber.
Yep.
Didn't realize until someone said it in the comments, and I checked it out. I think this is one of those ones where they're like, okay, we know we want to kind of get the use out of the. I don't even know. You can't even say head sculpt because it's not the same head sculpt because this guy's mouth is open. And the other one isn't. But the eyes do seem redder as opposed to yellow. So I think they're doing this to throw out a kind of a non-canon, it's kind of dark side Anakin, but it's also kind of not. They know they're going to move 2,500 units, and then inevitably they would I think it's only a matter of time before they do a Revenge of the Sith, what's it, 20th anniversary? Dark side Anakin, sculpted. and non-limited. Or if they really want to annoy people, actual Revenge of the Sith Dark Side Anakin with the blue lightsaber and a diorama that's actually makes sense from Revenge of the Sith, and make it artisan and just annoy people. That's probably more likely. That is probably, we're all saying sculpted. It makes sense for them to go, okay, you've made your money on your artisan Anakin. You've made your money on this other just exclusive version which is limited to 2,500, and now you're going to take another bite of the cherry because the bodies are all going to be the exact same, the outfits are more or less going to be all the exact same, and now you can go, let's do a sculpted version and keep everyone happy. They might just give you a dark side artisan Anakin with the blue lightsaber and a base that's actually correct, scene specific or whatever, and make it artisan again, and just they could do that. That's probably more than likely.
See, Shane, I'm almost even hoping that it's the sculpted, because one of my favorite looks for Dark Side Anakin is when he's got his hood up, and like there's like that one shot where he's like looking at the corner of his hood, and I'm like, man, that's a sweet shot. Like I would totally put that in a display. But if it's artisan hair, I almost don't want to mess it up, or I don't want to put a hood on top of the artisan hair.
Yeah,
so I'd actually be okay with sculpted. If that's
you're not the only one, because in the pictures, do you see one with the hood on? No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, because it defeats the purpose really of what they're trying to advertise. Because it is 100%. The only difference between artisan and non-artisan. And then there's the argument that the Beetlejuice from Beetlejuice was an artisan but still had the lamb's wool hair. They should have just committed to, okay, this is going to be our top line. This is going to be, if something's leather, boots, belt, holsters, tunic, it's going to be genuine leather. There's going to be an improvement in overall quality, not just the hair. They probably should have done that, but this isn't the first time you've heard that point. It won't be the last time. I have absolutely no interest in this whatsoever. If I manage to secure one of these, it'll be another giveaway. So
you've heard it here first, folks.
Best of luck. Best of luck to people who are getting it.
Shout out to 6 Scale Mafia and CT603. I did tune into their stream for about a half an hour last night while I was on my way home, and I heard them reference the fact that I guess when this post first went up, in the details or in the description, it actually highlighted Revenge of the Sith, and then shortly after that post was edited and that Revenge of the Sith was taken out. So I'm like, ooh, that's interesting as well. That's a little bit of juicy tinfoil hat thinking there. But yeah, shout out to those guys, because that was not something that I noticed on my first take on it. Luis, you have a half scale Vader behind you. What are your thoughts on limited versions here? Like, I loved the Cherry Blossom Stormtrooper as a limited option. I even loved the Darth Maul as a limited option or exclusive option. I think those are great exclusives, because while they're not for everybody, they're for somebody, and those people will differentiate their collections from others by having them there. But somebody who's a mainstay, a main character, like Anakin Skywalker, being held behind an exclusive window, that feels like a slap in the face to collectors. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I, being the Maul lover that I am, I want that concept Maul, so I'm definitely on board to try to get that. Thankfully, it looks like it'll be available on Sideshow as well at some point. I am a sucker, as you know, for limited edition pieces. So this called to me. The fact that it's a huge character like Anakin just really was a kick in the nuts. But I have kind of an open offer. If I have an extra artisan Anakin from an overseas buyer, and while I haven't gotten it in yet, I have an order from Sideshow as well. So I purely plan on using that as trade bait if I can score this one. I do have a few people that are going to Celebration that, out of goodwill are seeing if they can score me one. But that's going to be as reliable maybe as, eBay. I have no idea. But I'm mentally preparing myself to unfortunately pay a premium for this. Even if I went to Celebration, I have to buy the plane ticket, the admission ticket, hotel, food. It would still be less, I'm sure, than what some of the prices are going to go for this. So that's kind of how I'm mentally preparing. But I don't like that they did such a big character, but at least it falls in line with a variant, right? We only see him as Sith Eyes for a moment in Revenge of the Sith, and then in a moment in Ahsoka. So it really is kind of a great exclusive just because of the eyes, and it seems like the skin may even be paler as well. But to me, it warrants having both. So I have every intention of getting this. I would probably still be inclined to see if they do a May the 4th reveal of this, maybe in a sculpted with more of an offering. But if I've secured this, then who knows? Maybe I'll secure another May the 4th official one if it's sculpted too. But I need it. I'm a sucker for Vader, as you can see as well, and it sucks that they're doing this, but at the same time, I get it.
That's a very forgiving take. That is a very forgiving take. For somebody who loves the character as much as you do, I would expect you to be jumping up and down, honestly. Because even I felt pissed for people, and I'm not a diehard Darth Vader collector, necessarily. But what I will say is that I've not collected backwards on purpose because I wanted a dark side Anakin, and I didn't collect backwards on purpose with the expectation that eventually we'd get a 2.0. When I saw this, I was like, hell yes, it's finally here. And then this was what we got with the limited numbers, and that's why I'm staying very optimistic. Do I know for sure? Absolutely not. This may be it. This may be the last opportunity. But what I've learned from collecting over the 15 years that I've been doing it now, everything makes a return at some point. And they'll remake this eventually again. Whether it's the 20-year anniversary or the 30-year anniversary or whatever it is, it'll come back around if that's what it takes to wait for. Just like how I'm thinking these Iron Mans that I love, my Iron Mans, they're going to be the next things to get the USB upgrade, all right? And then everybody's going to be getting their USB Iron Mans and trading off the old ones. It's just the way she goes. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I felt frustrated. I'm surprised you don't feel a little bit more frustrated. But that's the way she goes.
Yeah.
That's the way
no,
she
I mean,
goes.
I am. I told my wife, I'm like, how could they do this to us, right? We've been so loyal, but that's just Hot Toys being Hot Toys. And I was upset because I knew, if I really want it, I do have to pay a premium. If I didn't have any artisan to be willing to trade or, sell to put towards this, then I'd be even more pissed. But that's kind of where having that extra is going to be probably the best way that I can get this. But I also have the original Dark Side Anakin from San Diego Comic-Con, which now of course the values drop, but I love it for the base. I love it for the more, I guess, accurate longer robe, and I guess the darker boots. So and it's going to be an extra set of pleather tunics that in the event something does happen, at least I have that as a backup. So that's just purely a parts figure now, as opposed to a grail that it was just a couple weeks ago, before this was announced.
Agreed.
Can't believe this happened. It's the way she goes, buddy. The fucking way she goes.
It's the way she goes. The way she goes. All right, guys. Panelists, keep an eye on private chat for the next couple here. We got about 20 more minutes left of the show. I still want to talk a little bit about Tobey Maguire. We're going to talk quickly about Cassian Andor, as well as, of course, his compatriot, the big ass robot that comes along with him. Why can't it? K2SO. That was why can't I remember his freaking name? K2SO. We're going to talk a little bit about as well. Fake fan. Don't worry about it, guys. I was wrong. I'm going to put this in the subject title of my show today. I was wrong. When I looked at this figure on, 3 days ago, and I did my figure preview video, I really didn't love the likeness of Tobey Maguire here as Bully Tobey or Emo Tobey, depending on how you want to say it. I had some comparison photos, and I was just I don't know, I'm not seeing the sculpt there. I thought that was going to be some of the critical take from the community. One of the benefits, though, of being in the community is that we now get a chance to see people get this figure in hand a lot faster than we used to. Shout out to places like Figure Hideout and some of the others that can show in hand representations of what the figure looks like under their lens. And after getting a chance to see some closer up looks at this figure, I will say I actually like this head sculpt way more than I initially did. Way more. Do I still think it's perfect? No. But I think it's much better than my initial gut check felt. So I'm happy to say my initial gut check was wrong. I think this actually looks better for the figure head sculpt than I expected. Where this is egregiously not cool is the masked version. Of course, I think all of us are going to kind of feel the same way. The seam that goes down the middle of his head is just egregious. It looks bad. The eye plates are just not quite correct. They're not nearly as smoky. They're not the right shape or size. Like, it's just, for a figure that clearly did get upgraded with the fixed Tobey Maguire or fixed Black Suit Spider-Man hashtag, which shout out to those boys. They know who they are. That worked. The body proportions and everything do look better. All of that looks better. It's too bad to me that the mask version here doesn't look that great. But I'm happy to be wrong because I do like this more than I initially felt. Now, I also was critical at the time of the symbiote face not being accurate to the symbiote face that we see as Venom as part of that film as well. But I have had some people say, well, maybe it's somewhere between the Tom Hardy representation and the comic book representation. And if that's what they're going for, then I'm willing to give them a pass. It's not accurate, which pisses me off. But if you know, when Toby's wearing this black suit, he's also not looking at the symbiote either. It's already on Eddie Brock at that point. So I'd rather have the accessory than not have the accessory and have it shaded under the comic book representation of Venom. But I see Dave giving me some thumbs down, so you know, happy to be wrong once again. That, you know, I will tell you guys, this is my most disliked video on my YouTube channel in the last year, was my take on this particular figure. Because clearly I'm in the vocal minority. I didn't think it looked great at first. Everybody else seems to love it. So happy to be wrong, and happy to have my mind changed by guys like Figure Hideout. But what are your thoughts here, Dave, now that you've seen this come to fruition? 2 years of fix Black Suit Tobey Maguire, hashtags and memes and all of the things. Did this shake out the way you were hoping?
I don't particularly have a dog in the race here because I'm not getting it, but this Venom attachment is stupid as hell. This is dumb. This is dumb. This is fucking dumb. All right, I'll say it. This doesn't belong here. Nobody needed that. It's not necessary. It wasn't even a thing that happened in the movie with him. What are they trying to do? Like they're hurting for accessories and they're trying to come up with something. And you know what they could have done at the very least. And I think I get where they were coming from with this, maybe, because there was the scene where he was getting rid of the symbiote, in the bell tower, and it was all like screaming at him and stuff, and it sure as hell wasn't this, but they could have made it look more like that, like it actually did. I don't know, man. This is dumb. It's dumb. I can't even articulate it properly. This is dumb.
I just hate it.
And the fact that it does look like okay, to all those people who love that stupid Tom Hardy Venom,
slightly lower than the high quality movie.
I had to really, really, really censor myself there. If they're okay with this looking halfway like that, I have nothing nice to say to you about that. That's dumb too. All right, that has no place here. It's like, don't put your politics in my cartoons. People like to say, don't put your Tom Hardy in my Tobey Maguire. Take that as you will, but that's egregious and it's annoying, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
That's fair.
I don't like it.
And I see Ethan in the chat here saying, give me a Topher Grace Venom, please, Hot Toys. Yeah, I mean, I did see that there was a third-party version that exists, and that one wasn't too bad. I didn't hate that one. Dave, what a guy. I didn't hate that one by any stretch, but...
Let's be clear, that wasn't a great Venom either, but it was leagues better than what we got with the Tom Hardy.
Like I said in my video, I love the animated series Spider-Man cartoon. Venom was one of my favorite characters from that. So by the time we knew a Venom was going to be in a live action film, I will say I was pretty freaking stoked to see it. And while the film wasn't amazing, I still did enjoy seeing the Topher Grace Venom in that movie. It was still cool to see a Venom representation. Valkyrie, I see you nodding. What are your thoughts here, buddy, on the figure, how it's turned out, as well as some of the accessories that it comes with? Do you like the likeness? Are you with me originally? Do you feel like it's like, it's not too bad, not terrible? Keep in mind, this is the proto on the right. This is the final on the left. I still think that there is some subtle downgrade there, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really like it. This is one of my most anticipated figures of this year.
Wow, high praise.
Yeah, I mean, I like the original movie, like Spider-Man 3. I remember when I was a kid, I remember that issue when Spider-Man first got the black suit, and I really liked it. And for a long time, it was like he wore, I think he was from the early 80s to maybe like the mid 90s before it was revealed that it was actually a symbiotic creature, right? So for me, I like this. The whole Bully Maguire thing I just thought was hilarious. The dancing scene and him just
hair?
looking, yes, looking angry.
That's right.
I think
That's right.
this will be like a fun addition to my collection. I think I also said that earlier, that like for me, I started collecting after that. What do you call it? After what movie was that? Where all the three Spider-Men got together.
No Way Home.
No Way Home, yes. So I wasn't able to do that, but I'm thinking that I'm going to do my own version of this instead, because I do have the black suit Tom Holland, and I have this on pre-order, so I'm going to get that. And then I'm just going to use a black suit Miles Morales to make my own version of this same sort of scene.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting, Valkyrie? Something I like about your take is that like you still are excited about the fun aspect of collecting this figure. I think sometimes as six scale collectors, as YouTubers, as people who talk about this shit all the time, it's easy to pick something apart for the negative sides of it. Sometimes it's almost harder to see some of the exciting parts of it or the fun parts of it. And like, while I still think that there is merit in being critical of these because they're expensive, they're really expensive.
Yeah.
I also think it's kind of fun to still just be excited about a fun character for the display. And that's something that I feel like I get vibes from you on, which I appreciate. That makes me feel good about the collecting situation, right? And as I said, this symbiote doesn't make sense for this character. It's not really canon to the film. I mean, I still think it's fun to have. So I kind of like that take. I like that take. I want to give a really special shout out to Philly Figurecraft. He had to hop off there while Valkyrie was chatting. Make sure you follow Figurecraft to his YouTube channel. I'll post the link there in the chat later on before we wrap the show. But Philly's an awesome dude. Always appreciate you being here, buddy. If you get a chance to watch the rest on replay, thanks so much for supporting Let's Get Nuts. Figurecraft, Mr. Philly, you're the man. Shane, I know you said you're good on this one. Luis, you're good on this one. Let's skip on to our next topic then, which is, of course, K2SO, and I'm going to blend these two together. K2SO as well as Cassian Andor. These guys were released at the same or on the same evening, which is exciting. Keep in mind, the one that you're seeing here on the left, the picture of the left, is from the original Rogue One representation, where he does not have illuminated eyes, K2SO, whereas the new version definitely does with the USB functionality, which is cool. I've been told that there is some die-cast components to this figure, even though they don't highlight die-cast in the actual screen grab here at all. Sounds like some of his joints are die-cast, so that's cool. If that's the case, gives him a little bit of weight. For me, if it's heavy, it means it's valuable. That's why Zach is so appreciated in my life. He's a valuable person to me, of course. Shout out to Zach if you're watching later. But for me, of these two figures, I bought them both. I pre-ordered them both. I have been chasing Rogue One since I started collecting. The Rogue One line for me was wildly expensive to have to go back and collect. And we've been waiting for an Andor figure. I mean, that movie came out, or that I should say a Cassian figure, That movie came out 10 years ago, which is wild. The fact that they've skipped that up to this point is crazy. We even had the Andor television show season 1, and all we got out of that was a scout trooper, which is insane. So I think it's great that they're giving us both. For me, the K2SO is the standout. I like him more than I like Cassian. I think for the most part, while I don't think Cassian looks bad, I do think that people are giving him a little bit of a pass. I don't think it's a great figure. I think the tailoring could have been tuned up a little bit. He looks a little bulky. His face looks a little bit more flat or like fat than he does in real life, and his nose bridge isn't quite as long. I know that's being kind of critical, guys, but because we've been asking for this figure for so freaking long, the fact that they finally gave it to us, I think is giving us some permission to be able to say, yeah, it's still pretty good. It's still better than any third party I could put in my collection. It's better than any custom that I've seen. It's still better. So I'm happy with it. Ultimately, for the Cassian, I wish they'd given us 2 swappable hair pieces, just like they did with John Wick. I think if they'd given him something that was a little bit more slicked down around his face, I think it would have looked a little bit more like him. This one looks a little bit more windswept, which to me actually takes a little bit out of the likeness of Cassian. For me, they're both a buy, and I thought the prices were relatively reasonable. But let's go to our Star Wars geeks on the panel here. I'm going to start with you, Luis, on this one first. What were your thoughts on seeing finally a Cassian Andor pop up here, as well as, let's be honest, reissues 2.0s? They're not stopping anytime soon. It almost seems like it's reissue of the week lately with the K2SO. What are your thoughts on both of these figures?
I think they look good overall. I was excited to see Cassian finally be made, which I think it's Rogue One, right? It's not from the series.
Yeah, Cassian's from Rogue One, and
right,
and K2SO is from Andor specifically.
Yes. So I was a little upset that despite it being Rogue One, he didn't come with all the fixings like Jyn did for her deluxe version. Obviously, the parka, that's kind of the big one. The hat, that whole get up, I feel, is where they messed up. But Hot Toys being Hot Toys, they'll probably make a deluxe version 2.0 now that this 1.0 is officially released. But it's great. I have Jyn, I have Director Krennic, I have the Death Trooper Specialist, so this would be a nice addition, of course, and I do plan on getting it, but probably either at release or who knows, maybe if it'll get discounted. The K2SO, that's another one that Philly actually said he had an extra enforcer droid, which didn't have the official K2SO, and I'm like, oof, it's tempting because of course the first K2SO was long sold out, and then they had the enforcer droid come out, and now of course they have K2SO 2.0 with the light up feature. So it's just Hot Toys being Hot Toys, and I'm not one big on reissues. As I say, I was getting the Artisan Anakin, Darth Vader, of course, but it just further cements what Hot Toys' business strategy is. It's all business, right? Yes, they have a fan base, but at the end of the day, they're a business, and if there's an opportunity for them to improve upon a previous release and getting that hype train out, they're going to do it. And for people like yourself that missed out on the figure before, this is a great opportunity. And it just kind of goes to show you, when you jump into the hobby, timing is everything. And now you're getting these figures that are ultimately better versions of what the previous figures were for, maybe roughly about the same price. So, it's just one of those things where if you don't get it now, chances are you'll probably get a superior version of a popular figure down the road.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you're right. It depends on when you come into the hobby. Something that I've really taught myself over the years is don't buy backwards unless you absolutely have to. Because every time I've bought backwards, they've reissued that figure. Every single time. I've been looking at the Avengers Hulk figure for the longest time on Facebook Marketplace for $500, and I keep poking Marco166 to be like, what do you think, buddy? It's been a while. What do you think I should get it? And every time he's like, no, dude, don't buy it yet. They're gonna reissue it. It's gonna happen. Just wait. and I know for sure it's gonna end up happening at some point. I just don't know when, right? It's that waiting game. But for these figures, even the fact that they've put Jin Urso in these photos here, there's been some speculation as to whether that's an upgrade because it looks like her eyes are moved. It does sound like now the theory is that that's actually the head sculpt from the stealth version on top of the previous body, because in the stealth version her eyes are a little bit moved. So I'm like, okay, that's more info than I even had to begin with, to be honest. So but I also think sometimes Hot Toys is a little stupid in terms of their strategy, and sometimes I think that they're smart. There are other Rogue One figures they could have shown in this photo if they were just showing, like, look how good all these look together as a Rogue One display. They didn't do that. They omitted some of those characters. For me, this tells me that there's a chance. There's at least a chance that we're going to see a Jin as well. But 1/6 figure focus, Mr. Shane. What are your thoughts here on 2.0s? The 2.0 of the week is a joke, but feels like that sometimes. The days of the Grail are coming to be, few and far between. And now we're also finally seeing Cassian Andor, which a lot of people have been waiting a really freaking long time for. Were these exciting for you this week?
I don't care about 2.0s. They're a company, they want to make money, so they're not going to make one version and then in 10 years time, when they have better sculptors, better paint applications, better tailoring, better ways of powering them up, not going to go, oh, you know what, we don't want to offend anyone here, we're not going to remake that one and make it significantly better, and we're going to leave all those hundreds of $1,000s on the table. If they did that, they'd be a terrible company. So like, if you're in it for like the numbered one of a kind, you're going to get this figure and then you're going to sell it for 3 or 4 times, you're in the absolute wrong line of collecting. Like, you do that somewhere else. It's just not what they're out. And if you haven't figured it out by now, that is completely on you. So like, maybe you're new, but like, that's not what it's going to be. The odd figure might double, and that's about it. So like, with these, then look, I have been really, really vocal about how much I love the Andor TV show. And I really, really want an Andor branded. I was very, very careful as well on my streams and my videos. Every time I brought it up, I was like, I want an Andor, but I want it branded Andor. And if I could possibly get the version from the finale of season 1, episode 12, he's got the long kind of coat on at one point, and he's got that Blade Runner style gun. I just think it's really, really cool. However, I appreciate that there's Rogue One Star Wars collectors out there, and they don't have a Baze and they don't have an Andor, and he's like the main character in the bloody movie. So I appreciate that. It makes perfect sense that after 9 years, finally those people get that, and it's one step closer to completing their Rogue One line. They've got their Jin, they've got their Krennic, they've got their K2, if they're whatever. So like, it's the right move, because they can satisfy them. But I'm really hoping Andor season 2 hits, and I'm really hoping we get that particular look. I just think that gun, I just think it's so cool. It's just so simple. It's a great design, and just characters with long kind of dusters and trench coats, whether it's Deckard from Blade Runner, or if it's Doc Ock, or if it's even the purple coat Joker, it's the Neo, they just look cool. So that's the kind of look I like. So I'm hoping that they do an Andor from season 2 and it has a similar look and it has that gun, whatever. But look, I could be wrong. So I have 2 choices. One, don't get this and hope, or just pick this up and it can be a keep it or as a placeholder, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's Rogue One. Rogue One is a triple threat. Do I love the character? Yeah. Do I love the source material? Yeah. Do I love this particular version? It looks great. I just really, really love Andor series compared to Rogue One, the movie, and Rogue One's a fantastic movie. Anyone who says this doesn't look like Diego Luna needs to go to Specsavers, get your eyes tested. This does look like Diego Luna. It does look like Cassian Andor. However, I do agree with you, Ben. Everything's wider. He is a lean, slender man. He's not carrying any excess muscle or fat or whatever. He's a very lean kind of dude. Like, so you're right. It looks like him, but it looks like the proportions have just been stretched by a percentage. The head looks maybe wider than it should be. and the body looks kind of maybe wider than it should be. But really, I think the head sculpt's an 8 out of 10. I think it's a fantastic looking head sculpt. It's just not
Definitely
perfect.
know who he's supposed to be. Definitely know who it's.
We know,
supposed
yeah.
to be.
It's not like the Doc Ock head sculpt, and I have that figure, like, so no disrespect to anyone, like, you know what I mean. So
Me too. Yeah.
yeah, look, it's I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about season 2. They've released the run times. How often, like, if you're an Andor fan, this is bloody Star Wars Christmas. You are going to get, because there's 12 episodes and they're releasing them in sets of 3. For 4 weeks in a row, you're getting a 2.5 hour Star Wars movie of some of the greatest story, some of the greatest dialogue and some of the greatest storytelling that we've seen in the Star Wars universe. So if you're not on it, please get on board. I think you are missing out if you're not. It's really, really good stuff. Yeah, so
that one speech from the dad, the Skarsgård dad. I can't remember
Luton's, what have I sacrificed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
his
I burned my
speech
life.
in the begin-
Yeah.
Oh,
And
it's
like
hard every
that,
time.
but like you can pick out that, or you can pick out Fiona Shaw, Marva's character, like Andor's motherly figure at the end. When I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, she gives a great speech. Andy Serkis, One Way Out is iconic now, and Andor, he drops some one-liners, and they're cold as ice, and you're like, this guy has seen some stuff. And Diego Luna takes the role very seriously, and apparently Tony Gilroy said he wants to take he wanted to take Star Wars more serious than it ever has been, and I think he's absolutely nailed it. Highly passionate about this. This is coming home, but I do hope they go on and we get a summer showcase of an Andor version, and the K2. Yeah, that's coming home. They're just going to look so well together. So yeah, happy days.
Oh, yeah.
Look, it's a great non-artisan, non-exclusive, non-limited banger of a bloody announcement.
It was nice to not have another exclusive.
Yeah,
I've
I don't wanna
been
queue
getting
for it. I just
exclusive
wanna buy it.
fatigue lately.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. Happy days.
Valkyrie, what are your thoughts here, buddy, on Cassian Andor as well as K2SO? What are your thoughts?
Let's see here. I did like the movie Rogue One. I mean, I wasn't a collector back then. Now, of course, I wish I was a collector back then because I could buy some of the figures. But I did like the television series also. I thought it was great, even though the first few episodes were kind of like dragging on. My friends had to tell me, keep going. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And then, they were right. It was great. And now I'm like, okay, I got to get this figure now.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thought, though. I don't know. I was just looking at the figure. I didn't even see this until just now. Have you ever watched the original Battlestar Galactica series from the 70s?
Hell yeah.
Okay, because this outfit almost looks like their uniforms they wore. The brown jacket, the brown pants, kind of a bit baggy, and then the sidearm, like right by his leg. I was like,
oh, it does.
Yeah, I never thought about that until I just saw this just now. I'm like, so maybe this might be a double reason for me to get this now.
Battlestar.
Yeah. The character's great, and then now I might have to. I mean, K2SO. I might have to get the two of them, and then of course, that means I'm gonna have to find what was her name again?
Jyn Erso.
Jyn Erso. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Don't buy backwards yet. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see her come back. Just
I think
hold
that
off
might
for
be
a
a good
little bit
idea.
longer.
Yeah. So
look at the trends. Look at the trends. They're 2.0, and Ben just said it. Ben said earlier on the show. He said every time he's worked backwards, bang, they reissue it. Stay away from the likes of old Ben Kenobi from A New Hope. Stay away from
That one's
Jyn
looking
Erso.
at me.
They're going to
That one's
happen.
looking at me dead in the face on Facebook Marketplace.
Trust me, it's
Ben?
going to
Oh, man.
happen. It's going to happen,
Dead in
man.
the face.
Save yourself a few quid, and you'll probably get a better figure.
Okay, all right. I'm thinking about I'm like, I hear all this stuff. It's like the minute people buy it, they're like, oh, here's the reissue or the 2.0 or even 3.0. So I'm like, okay, I'll be strong. I'll hold off. This one though, I'm gonna have to find a way to get this. This is I love the series, and I'm looking forward to the new season as well. So
Me too. Yeah, which is just around the corner.
Oh yeah,
Just around the
I'm
corner.
excited.
Yeah. Great thoughts, buddy. Great thoughts. Dave, certainly last but not least, what are your thoughts here on Cassian Andor 2.0's reissue, of course, of K2SO? Do you think the Grail will still exist for people in the future, or do you think we can expect from the community of collectors that they're just going to keep going?
I hope for very selfish reasons that it doesn't, because I have now to date over the last 2 weeks passed up 2 really good offers for a DX08 because I am hoping for a reissue of that. That's like the last remaining Grail, right?
Yeah, one of them. The X08, like the Joker.
Yeah. The Joker, yeah.
Yeah,
It's downstairs.
Yeah, he's one of the last remaining
downstairs.
ones. He's still an amazing figure. I've got him behind me, but
I want him, and I almost pulled the trigger twice, and I was like, no. Like, I held out for Batman. I wasn't going to get 89 Batman because I really wanted him. I was like, if they don't do it, I don't want to buy backward. That was my whole, I don't want to buy backward. That was one thing that people kept saying when I got in, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to adhere to that as much as I possibly can. But it has been trying because I really
Chris Reeve
want
Superman
that Joker.
is one of them as well. We haven't seen another Chris Reeve Superman. Another one of them, but yeah, he's definitely.
So yeah, but as far as this goes, like, I would love to have Andor and K2, but these guys are just, they just, with everything going on, with all the decisions I'm having to make, I've got a backlog of things that I'm playing the long game on, and they just can't make the cut.
That's fair.
I still got to get Crow and Mando. I keep saying it.
The force is strong with you, Dave. Your power is growing.
Dude, seriously, I want Crow Mando and that swoop bike. I really, really do. But I'm like I said, I've got so many. There's still Sabine. There's still Chopper. I know there's that cheaper Chopper out there. Ooh, that's fun to say. But I want the Hot Toys Chopper. I don't want the budget Chopper. I'll know.
That's fair.
And I'm still I've got Chewie and Han on pre-order, and I'm probably gonna have to let them go.
Damn.
Very likely gonna have to let them go because
I did the same thing.
As important as they are not. Like I said earlier, my true north is gonna be X-Men, Wolverine specifically. And with all the Deadpool and Wolverine stuff, that's tops for me. That has to happen, barring all else. So that's the important thing for me right now. And if I can do other stuff, then I'll do other stuff. But Star Wars is still going to be tertiary, along with the other odd IPs. So we'll just see how it all pans out. Who knows? But I would love to. I really want to see Cassian, Andor, and K2 meet Han Solo and Chewbacca. I want to see that. I don't know if that's happened in comics. I don't follow the Star Wars comics. I don't know if that's happened anywhere in any lore at all. But I would love to see that happen. That would be amazing to me. It has to have happened. There's a brief window of time where it could have happened.
There's a narrow time window when that could possibly happen, but
and I can see them traveling in similar circles easily. So
it's a big universe, though. I mean, or it should be.
It
anyways.
is a big
the fact
universe.
that they keep going back to the Skywalkers is part of the joke, right? It's why don't they talk about other people?
There's only one family in Star Wars.
One family. That's right.
But I feel like scoundrels have common places, though, right? There's a Star Wars equivalent to Tortuga. They have to have met.
That's
you know?
Yeah, that's valid.
Very narrow time frame, though, if they haven't met by now, if you get my drift.
That's the thing, yeah. Because if it didn't happen before, Jeddah, well, there it is. But it has to have happened. I'm holding out hope that we'll see it at some point in some form or fashion. And someone's going to have them in the figure form, and that's going to be cool. I'm waiting to see pictures of that, so that'll be cool. Okay, now I'm rambling. We can pass me now.
I like when you ramble. Honestly, it makes the end of the show just that much greater and nuttier. Honestly, so thank you for bringing it. I appreciate all of you guys on the panel today. All great takes. You all had fire takes at some point today that I was like, damn, I didn't think of it this way before. So, guys, today we talked a little bit about tariffs and how they're affecting the hobby. We've talked about 6 scale news. just had some fun, had some laughs. But what I will say is that I do hope that all of us can continue to stay positive within our collecting hobby, right? Be strategic. That sometimes is part of the fun of it, right? Like, yeah, buying at volume is cool and having a lot of things is cool, but when you can look at your collection room and be like, man, this collection room represents me, what I feel is my nostalgia, not what everybody else thinks is cool, but what who I am on the inside, right? And that's what I want my collection room to represent. That's what I hope for you guys out there. You know, quantity is great, quality for me is better, and a good reason to bring these things in our displays means that price point won't always be the deciding factor, or shouldn't be always the deciding factor. At the end of the day, nostalgia and your love for the characters is what hopefully will win continuously going forward. Guys, we had a great show today. Thank you so much to the Tough Nut crew, part of our channel membership here, the 40 people who are in the channel membership. I want to shout all you guys out very specifically, but on your way out the door today, guys, we have 70 people still watching live. If you haven't already, if you don't mind hitting the like button, just to show the stream to everybody else. We want as many participants as we can in the future. Definitely would be appreciated. We got Alvin J collecting weekly, Money Mendez, 1 Adam 12, 6 Scale Mafia, 1 6 Figure Focus, X-Men Supreme, King Dingaling, 6 Scale Collector, 12-inch Moose Stream, The Batman, The Movie Canon, Parks Industries, SpongeBob SquareBalls, Honest Hansel, Peter Cass, Harry Dempsey, Ryan Smith, Collector Joey, Sam Gist, Rachel Miller, Jose G. Hernandez, Figure in a Bubble, Collection Obsession, Blurred Dad Life, Don Maton, Alex Serrato, Pop Culture Relics, Daniel SC, Figurecraft, Trevor Weed, Big Reeb, as Dean would say, Big Dog Pound 1, woo! The Real Tex Conway, which, by the way, let me know if you were previously Balls, B-A-L-Z. I think that's who you are. Let me know, because the name changed in my membership. The Real Tex Conway, Monroe Kabeel, Valkyrie Magnus, Brick Artemis, OG Fan, when Star Wars was just Star Wars, Tijuana Mike, a.k.a. King Churro, and Saphira Cosplay. If you guys are interested in becoming one of our channel members, the link is in the chat for you guys right now. Otherwise, we're happy to just have you here watching week over week. But I want to pass the microphone back to my esteemed panelists. Let's be honest here. We didn't have a chance to shout him out before he left all that well, but Philly from Figurecraft was here earlier. Make sure you join or subscribe to the Philly Figurecraft YouTube channel. He's an awesome dude. Definitely deserves the sub, and has some amazing photography and videography content on this channel, so do not miss that. But Shane, 1 6 Figure Focus, tell us what's coming up for you, buddy, on your channel there, good sir.
Oh, thanks for having me, Ben. I really enjoyed that. Always good to see everyone on the panel. So tomorrow night, we have an episode of the host show. It is tomorrow night, Monday, 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 3 p.m. East Coast, and midday if you're on the West Coast. We've got I put a video up there, Andor the wait is over. Today I was talking about Andor and K2SO. Tomorrow will be kind of Andor dominated and K2SO, and of course Cassian dominated, and we'll touch on the other stuff as well, and there's usual kind of segments like, but yeah, exciting, very, very exciting. Got 2 weeks off, so there will be a lot of content going up on the channel there. There's just a bit more time available, so probably Johnny on the spot with the news and announcements, and got the review of John Wick as well, and hopefully John Wick's dog as well. Do you know? John Wick's dog, you know. Nice. You're about to click the button and you pay for a stupid amount of money for a 1/6 scale Staffordshire, and you wonder,
hopefully it's
this
worth
is
it.
not how I thought my life would go at 40, but here we are. You know, here we are. It's a very cute
At
dog.
least it's not like, it could be like a Mazda Miata. It could be worse. You know what I'm saying? At least it's still
What
cool
is a
stuff.
Mazda Miata? Is that like a
Yes, that's
midlife
the old.
crisis
That's
car?
the old school midlife crisis car back in the day.
Is it a convertible? Is it red?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. No, looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to getting it in. It's supposed to be very good. Bob Dylan recommended it, so yeah.
All right. Well, as your friend of all this time and hashtag 800, I'd like photos before the video goes up, just so I feel a little extra special.
Grand,
Okay, just
cool.
put it out there,
I'll hold you to that. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll hold myself to that.
There you go.
I'll remember.
Thanks for being here, buddy.
I'll do it.
As always, appreciate it. 1/6 Figure Focus, please, for the love of God, make sure you are subscribed to this man's channel if you are not already. Let's get him some more on there. Great content as always, and good person as always. Big heart. Mr. Luis, Pop Culture Relics. Dude, I'm going to be poking you as the minute that your J&D Joker comes in the door. But otherwise, anything going on in life for you, good sir, you wanted to shout out?
I'm always a lurker. I feel like I just got a little rotating table display, so I'll definitely get more videos up. It's just between little kiddos and this crazy economy market we're in. I'm in the mortgage industry, and put it this way, I bought my house at 2.5%, and rates are still almost 7%. So, it's been a rough go these past few years, but always grinding and trying to, make a nickel at this point out of a penny. But what keeps me sane is just having that hobby and knowing that there's other people out there, of course, that share that same passion, right? So I will definitely be getting some pieces here and there and looking forward to the J&D one. So yeah, I'm anxiously awaiting more reviews of that as people get the revised changed one. But yeah, I think that's probably after Artisan Anakin. I'd say that's my most anticipated 1/6 scale figure coming out this year.
Oh, yeah.
So I will definitely let you know when that comes, and
Sweet.
would be happy to dissect it along with. I actually got rid of my in-art Joker since I have the Artisan Joker as well. So I won't be able to do that triple review, but at least having the J&D to compare with the Artisan Joker, that will definitely happen. But I appreciate you having me on, and always good to be here and have a great panelist here. So yeah, man, I can't thank you enough.
Oh, dude, always made great friends over the years with everybody on the panel. I love you guys for sure. And Luis, dude, can't wait to have you back, man. Let me know whenever you're free in the chat.
Absolutely.
We will bring you back anytime you are available. We'll love to have you here.
I appreciate it, man. Love to come back.
Pop Culture Relics, check it out on YouTube, man. It's everybody who is out there. Check it out. Mr. Valkyrie Magnus. Thank you to your wife for allowing you to come on the panel once again and skip dishes again. You hate to see it. I'm just kidding. Love you, buddy. Thanks for being here as always, my friend. Anything going on for you in life that you're excited about?
Let's see here. Just my Instagram. I'm just still taking pictures. I may not be the best photographer in the world, but I think they're just fun. I think I have like creative ideas which I put into it. Let's see here. And I'm also, I'm actually kind of surprised that I'm even like being a panelist now. I mean, for me, it was just like being on your show is something I never even thought of, or like it's like, wow, that's a dream. I'll never be able to do that. But here I am, just glad to be able to support you and be a part of the whole show, and I'm just loving it being here.
That's always how it goes, man. It's like you don't like I started a YouTube channel so that I could be on 1/6 Figure. 1/6 Figure Focus, but also 1/6 Fix's YouTube channel and collecting weeklies. I used to watch these guys all the time, and when Marco finally invited me on as just somebody who just lurked in the chat all the time, I was so excited. And I remember going out and buying my camera and my microphone and took it very seriously. And that video still exists on the internet, and I was super green and I was all nervous and everything, but the rest is history, right? I mean, the more that you do this, the more you get to know kind of the feel for it, and it's fun. It is fun. That's my favorite part of the week, is talking to you guys, not paint sales like I have to do in my real life. But Valkyrie Magnus on Instagram. This is what the link looks like, guys. So follow Eric here, or Valkyrie Magnus on Instagram. He's got way more subscribers or followers than I do on Instagram. I've been stuck at like 600 for a really long time. So yeah, don't follow my Instagram. It's boring. But check out Valkyrie's. It's real good. So, but dude, thanks for being here as always, man. Always welcome here on the show, as always. One of the Tough Nut crew for life. So thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks, Ben.
Certainly. Last but not least, Mr. Dave, X-Men Supreme. Thanks for showing your love today, man. I thought you hated me because you said you couldn't be here, but then you came anyways and had fun. Good to see you as always, buddy. Anything coming up for you this week that you are excited about?
I'm gonna be hanging out with Gio a little bit later.
Oh, nice.
Doing that. But man, as always, it's just a great time, no matter what it is that we're talking about, hanging out with you guys. Eric, one of the newer, guys showing up. It's been great seeing your old lady curio cabinet full of stuff. That's the kid. I love that so much. And friggin' Shane and Luis, you guys are collection display goals, right? Like I just never get enough of looking at the background when you guys are. It's like Shane's is just so simple and elegant and clean and nice, right? Like,
Oh,
that
you
is
silver-tongued devil!
and
He's
like
trying to slide into your Hope Show, by the way. Just put that there.
Oh no, I sent him the
Slide
link.
in.
He's already there. I sent him the link.
and Luis is just wow. It's just
Wow.
epic
Yeah.
every freaking time, dude. I
Appreciate that. Thanks,
that
brother.
Vader back
Oh, yeah.
there just it's like the dude's rug, right? It really just ties it all in. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Just seeing everything back there. I hope to be on you guys on your level with my displays, and I'm working on it. I'm going tomorrow to pick up some stuff on my way home from this work trip that will help me with that. So we'll see how that goes. But it's just always a pleasure getting to see what you guys think of, the whole sphere of collecting, from where to go, what to do, how to display, all of that stuff. I've learned a lot from a lot of y'all, and I really appreciate this community that we have, so we can all do that. That's fantastic.
It's
we
funny
need
you
shows
say
that-
that, and I'm sure myself and Luis really appreciate it. But I look at Luis and I'm like, man, I feel like an imposter compared to that. Like, it's like a full-on museum. You should charge entry.
That's the thing. It's
You
a
know,
Venn
this-
diagram, right?
Yeah.
And you both overlap in the area of just awe, because they
Oh,
both
thank
look so good, and you've got your different places where you shine that others may or may not, but there's so many ways to have a fantastic looking collection. And Ben's too, he's got the whole rave thing going on there, and that's freaking awesome. That's great.
Ooh, nice. These are white lights too. I just put them on this because, like, in the bright white light, I look like shit. So don't worry about it. Okay, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. Yeah, that's right.
It goes to show you don't need to have like one specific way of displaying things, right? Like you don't have to have
Definitely.
just the IKEA stuff. You don't have to have just the Moducase case stuff. You don't have to have, just whatever you built at home. There's so many different ways to mix and match things, like Shane does, or like everybody really does in a lot of ways. But man, it's props to all of y'all for just making it a more desirable thing just by how it looks. I feel like you guys really are exemplary in that aspect as far as like displaying figures goes.
I appreciate it, man. I've said it
Appreciate the praise.
so many times. There was a period for like 8 years where all my stuff was in boxes and in storage, and I knew one day that I would have a dedicated space. Just a matter of time, And of course, you can pass up on items knowing that you don't have the space. But like, if it's something that you really love and they may or may not make much, then that may be just the itch to kind of get it. But at the end of the day, collect at your own pace. It's not a race. This is a marathon, and this is like 20 years of me buying this stuff over the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And eventually you get to a point where you love, like Ben said, this is your own display, your own collection. It's not who has more of what. It's just what summarizes you as a collector. And how you display it is totally up to you. And if anyone doesn't like it, that's on them. But at the end of the day, you got to do you.
Speak for yourself. I'm trying to
100%.
beat all you guys to the finish line immediately. Speak for yourself, man. All that to say, guys, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Get nuts with us on a Sunday. If you are here watching or on the panel, you already know about the Ben Thomas Show, but if you haven't had a chance to subscribe, I would definitely appreciate it. We are on the way to 60K, which is wild. Keep an eye out for the Nut Yard as well. The Nut Yard is a live show, open mic style show that I'll be doing just by myself, unlike Let's Get Nuts, where I have all the panelists here. The Nut Yard is a lot more of a chill, just hanging out with Ben, talking randomly about whatever I feel like talking about that particular evening. I'll try and share as much of it in the screenshot as possible, but it tends to ramble on to things that maybe I shouldn't share with everybody online, but I do anyways. So let's be honest, keep an eye out for the Nut Yard, as well as all of my friends' channels here. All that to say, I love you guys. Thank you so much for getting nuts with us once again on a Sunday. I'm going to go to you, Valkyrie. Valkyrie, I think it goes without saying. We got nuts.
Oh,
Thanks
yes.
for watching, everybody.
There we go.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Subscribe and makes you feel good. Where's my go? What do I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.